Welcome back to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna. I'm Kim.
And I'm Jonna.
And we are here today to talk to you about
Woolen folk and Rhinebeck.
Yes.
And our, I'm not even going to call it a haul because I think we're pretty conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did buy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
And we met tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
We met lots of knitting celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous weather. We had the best time.
We really did.
We really did.
Yeah, it was really fun. So in this video, yes, we're going to mostly talk about Woolen folk and Rhinebeck, and at the end, we're going to talk tiny bit about our merch and our merch site. And then now that we do want to announce, we still haven't announced the winners of helping me choose my next project. Just because we had filmed episode 11 before it was over.
Right.
So, and we did post it on Instagram, and I think, yeah, but if these people aren't on Instagram, then they won't know, and a lot of people aren't on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So anyway, here we go. So the winner of the What Should Kim Knit Next contest or voting was, as everybody would assume or guess if they read the comments, it was Here Comes the Sun, which was designed by Olga Patano. So that's definitely what I'm knitting next. Yay. And I know, I'm excited. I did wind my yarn. Good. Maybe I'll insert a picture here. I don't know. But I haven't started it. I haven't started swatching because I need to finish my tweed tee that I'm working on, and honestly I would really love to finish the what's it called? Amina.
Oh.
I don't know if I can though.
And the baby blanket?
Yeah, I'd like to finish the Amina front because the sleeves I can take with me because they're super easy. Just stockinette, no color work. Mm-hmm. The baby blanket, let's not talk about that. I need to finish that too. Anyway, but I won't finish that before I start Here Comes the Sun. But as I said, I think what I'm going to do is now knit all 14 or 15 of those sweaters in the order of the votes. So
in order of popularity.
Yes.
Okay.
So each one, then I also will open a Ravelry thread in our Ravelry group. And so they won't be official knit-alongs, but anybody who wants to knit along with me, then knit along with me, and we can chat about how it's going. And so as soon as I get ready to swatch, I will open the Here Comes the Sun Ravelry thread.
I know several people mentioned they want to knit the Weekender.
Yes, and they want
Weekender
you, because you said you want to knit it with me.
I know, and I've had yarn since, I think I bought it at my first Rhinebeck. I still have it. It's Nightshades from Harrisville Designs in a black kind of tweedy. But who knows? I might change my mind.
Yeah, that's fine. You can change your mind, but I'm not going to change my mind. Right. I'm going to knit them in order. That's just the way I do things. So just so you know, as of when I did the drawing, 934 votes came in, and 406 were from Here Comes the Sun.
Wow.
And as I said, from those who voted for Here Comes the Sun, which was 406, I chose one winner of the Knitter's Planner. Where can I put this here? And then we already ordered it. Here it is. And the winner is Patty. How would you say that?
Jaworek.
Jaworek. And I will put it in the caption so you can read it. But Patty, this is your Knitter's Planner. And we're so excited to mail it to you. So please email us. Our email address is in the show notes, so you can grab it there. But we're so excited that you got to win this. Also, though, I realized so many other people really thoughtfully voted for all the other sweaters. Everyone had most people really put a reason why they wanted me to knit that. So I decided from those who didn't vote for Here Comes the Sun to do another drawing. And they're going to win their choice of my remaining Yarn Love yarn. I have 5 sets left. So, oops. Sorry. You know what that is.
There's a story about this.
You can just hold on to that, whatever. So the person who won, which actually is Carol Robinson, and she voted for Decision, which I think was second place. That was the second place sweater.
That's the one that I gifted you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was the second place winner.
People love that.
So that I'll knit after Here Comes the Sun. But these are the sets that are left. So when you email us, I will send you a picture of these, and you can tell me which one you like. And you're also going to get this random extra full hank because I don't have the matching.
Oh.
I don't know.
I wonder which one that came with.
This is...
Oh, that's the same one that we use to make our on the fence socks, or...
Oh, is it?
The one...
Oh, maybe. Oh, yes, I think I needed extra.
Free Sock 2020.
I think I needed extra.
With Kia
Spud.
Yeah, Kia Spud podcast, which is, she's a lovely Swedish woman who lives outside of Gothenburg, is that how you say it? Gothenburg? Gothenburg,
I think.
Okay.
But now that we do, I had watched hers before we did our own channel. She does it in 2 different languages.
She does it twice.
She records twice.
I know. One's in Swedish and one's in English. And she speaks English perfectly.
Oh, my goodness. So anyway, I just wanted to do this quickly. So the winner, Carol Robinson, will choose from these and get this as well. It doesn't have its little set, this little mini skein.
And there's a Christmas set in here, too.
Oh, yeah. That was a really popular one.
Yeah. And Kim made me socks out of this set. And I attempted to make myself socks out of this set. And... there was a snafu, and the heel gusset.
Are they still on the needles?
No, I think I
you did
frogged them.
Yeah, frog. Okay.
So the thing with self-striping yarn is because the length of the rounds in the gusset are bigger, the stripes get wonky. And that really bothers me.
They don't look like the rest.
No, they don't look like
the yarn pools. I'm eating with food in my mouth. I mean, I'm eating with food in my mouth. Everybody. I'm talking with food in my mouth. Okay, that's a blooper.
Yeah, so did not finish those, but Kim graciously gifted me hers because she knit so tightly that even though we both cast on 64 stitches and we wear the same size shoes, 8.5, US 8.5.
They were way too small.
They were way too small for her, so I got them. So they're my Christmas socks.
Yay. I was happy to give them to you.
So on a tangent.
And you wear hand knit socks.
I do. I wore them yesterday.
You love wearing them, and I never. Yeah.
And part of the pleasure of it, and I guess people who get this are going to get it, but like last night, I washed all the wool socks and I hang them to dry on the drying rack, and it's just such a satisfying feeling to collect these wool socks, and they're squishy, and it's like, I made these. I don't know. It's just the cutest thing. And sometimes I hang them on. We have a gate at the top of our stairs. I'll hang them on the gate. You know, it's just the cutest thing.
And I only usually wear like little athletic kind of ped socks. I don't really wear wool socks at all. And even going up to Rhinebeck, it was chilly in the morning.
And I was like, are you not wearing socks? And what'd you say to me? Beauty before.
Fashion before comfort.
Fashion before comfort. Oh my goodness.
My sneakers look cuter with no socks in them.
Yeah.
And also, I have a real issue though, because I bought so many different brands of, they don't have to be no show, but they slip down into my shoe.
You know those Costco ones? Oh, no, you don't.
No, I don't go to Costco.
That's right. Okay, I buy the Costco little socks for working out, and they never do that. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I've bought so many, and they are advertised that it's not going to happen. And then I'm halfway through my workout at the gym, or I'm not even out of the house yet, and they slip down into my shoes. So I would rather, of course, if it's freezing cold, I'm going to wear socks. Right. But if it's not freezing, I knew it was going to get up to 70 that day, so I just didn't wear socks. But you were shocked. You're not wearing socks?
Well, the first 2 days, I wore my cute little, combat boots with socks. And my feet, I just thought, day 3, I told my husband, I said, I don't know what to wear. I don't know if I'm just going to wear these white sneakers. He said, don't you have a pair of Birkenstocks? I was like, oh, I do. So I got out my hand knit socks, and I put on my Birkenstocks, and I was so comfortable all day.
You were.
I was very comfortable. So I go for comfort.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Did you do any preparation? I know you were talking about doing preparation for the fiber festivals.
So it was my birthday on Wednesday, and it was also my grandson's birthday on the same day. So we went up to Connecticut to go do cake and presents and stuff. And I was just knitting, and I had no time. I had the list that you printed out for me, and I just thought, okay, well, I'm just going to wing it again. We're just going to go.
You're going to tell them about the silly list I printed out?
Why?
I don't know. Was it the one with all the vendors?
Yeah, it was the big one with all the vendors, front and back.
Because last year
when
we
use it for scratch paper now because it's front and back.
Because last year we didn't get. They were out of programs or something.
And This
and
year
we
program.
couldn't find a map, and it was hard to look on our phones because the cell service isn't that great.
Yeah. And, I mean, the funny thing is we did not shop at all on Saturday, the first day of Rhinebeck. We really didn't shop at all. So, and I think by now, I think this is my third Rhinebeck. I kind of know, like, which vendors are in which buildings and who I want to see. And so I think that was nice, too.
But basically, she wanted to prepare, so I thought, oh gosh, I should prepare. I was just going to show up. So I printed the map in color, and then behind it, you can, when you're on the New York Sheep and Wool website, you can look at the PDF of all of the vendors, and I took away the information, like the paragraph describing them, and I only had what building, what booth, what the name was, basically, and I printed that, and it was many pages long. Turns out I never even looked at it once.
And that was cool because they put the new vendors in a different color, and then vendors who would change locations in another third color. So
right, that was actually in the program, too.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yes, that was good.
So anyway, did you prep at all besides that?
Nope.
I printed 3 patterns. I thought maybe if I find yarn, I wanted to maybe eventually. I have 14 other sweaters to knit, so it will be a while. But the Bloom sweater by Marina Storm, which I think is so cute, and Marina looks adorable. On there, I've been messaging her back. She did a collaboration with Mayak, and there's a cute little sweater with an adult size, and her daughter is in the child size. I don't remember the name of it. And then we saw this recently, Cargill, the Cargill sweater by
Rebecca Clow, is that her name?
I didn't write down her last name. I couldn't find it.
And she's Rebecca from the Creabea podcast, which is super fun. Very knitty.
And I love how the pictures, I've mentioned how for the Esayer pictures, they're so moody, you can't really see it. But this one has 3 different views, and you can see the beautiful, what do you call those, cables? Or what are they?
They're a dip stitch.
Okay. You can see them close up.
And this is her first pattern. Which
really?
Is
That's amazing.
And I don't think she's been knitting for very long.
Yeah. So she's adorable.
Yeah, definitely check her out.
Yeah. And then I also printed the Macomb, I think you would call it, by Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber. And I said hi to her last year because I follow her on Instagram, and she said, if you see me, say hi. So we saw her near the coffee stand last year, and I said hi.
We saw her this year, too.
Yeah, we saw her this year, and I said hi again. She has no idea who I am, but I love her because she, at one point this year, she would do reels where she's roller skating around her living room.
Oh.
She's actually really good. And somewhere she falls. I don't know, she's just kind of like sweet and kind of goofy. And recently she was somewhere and she had a reel of her doing back handsprings.
Oh, wow.
And I commented, oh my goodness, I mean, that's hard. I was a dancer and I taught gymnastics for many, many, many years. And I probably was strong enough to do a back handspring, but I was afraid. I never, ever, ever, since I was a child, I tried, but I've never been able to do a back handspring. And so here she is. And I think she's a mom to still have the strength and the flexibility and everything to do that. Pretty impressive. So anyway, I brought those 3 patterns and that's it. So Friday.
I briefly looked at my Ravelry library, and I know about 600 yards for a vest and about 1,100 yards for a sweater, and so I just kind of, that's how I prepared.
But you know me, I like it to match a sweater pattern,
right? Where
you just kind of a general, I like this yarn,
right?
And you'll find it.
I didn't buy anything with something in mind, actually, except for my son-in-law.
Okay.
So yeah.
Friday, Woolen Folk.
Okay.
What did you wear?
I wore my Dingley Dow. And it was barely cool enough to wear it. It was cool enough in the when we got there, which was around noon.
Yes, I was surprised. I just expected all 3 days we would be getting there at 9 or 10. And then the day before, I realized Woolen Folk didn't start till noon. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't get there till 12:30. And it was absolutely gorgeous weather. Sun was shining right on the Hudson River.
The fall colors driving up.
Oh, we have excellent fall colors this year.
Yes.
I think last year I felt like they all just turned brown and fell off the trees. But anyway, whatever's happening in the climate, the colors are beautiful this year. And Kim drove. So I knitted. I started an Oslo hat on the way up.
Which you've since finished.
That I have since finished. Yay. Because I finished my Sophie scarf like the day before because I thought I wanted to wear it, so I blocked it. So I wore my Dingley Dow, my long sleeve Mohair Dingley Dow.
Right. And I wore my Freya tee.
And people loved it.
Oh,
People
you know
just
why?
went crazy.
I know. The reason I didn't wear my Dingley Dell or my PSSO was because Mayak still had it from Italy. So I didn't really feel like changing my clothes when
and
I
then
got
we got there, and someone in the Mayak booth was wearing your PSSO.
Oh, that was so funny. Yeah.
So she wasn't going to wear that one.
Yeah, because they use them as samples. And so, when we walked up to that booth, Amy was wearing my PSSO, and I walked up and I said, I love your sweater. And she said, I don't even know what it is. And I said, well, it's fine. It's the PSSO. And it looked adorable on her. She said she got a lot of comments. And she wore it until it got really cold in the evening, and then she had to change.
Yeah, I wonder how they did wardrobe changes, given that they didn't leave the booth the whole day.
Oh, my goodness.
So Kim ran and got them coffee, and...
Well, waited online for a half hour.
Right, where we met Deb. I met Deb online. Actually, I was going to the...
You met Deb's, was it Deb's stores? And I didn't get to... Did I get to meet her?
I'm not sure you did. And I forgot to ask you for a picture.
I know. We actually made it... I made it... Yeah, I don't know if you did, because I do the Instagram. I made a conscious decision. It's a lot already to edit the videos, to take other kinds of pictures. And I don't know why I thought of it before we went. And it turns out Kevin and Ray did the same thing. I thought, fan pictures, the fans are going to take them, and they're going to post them and tag us. So instead of juggling, you know how when two people want the picture? Right,
here's my camera and that camera. And
I just thought, why do that? Why waste the time? Just let you guys do all the work.
And it was very chill, too. You know, someone else took the pictures. And
Exactly. Yeah. But then the times that we wanted a picture, like we never got a picture with Kristen Lair.
No.
We almost didn't get pictures with a lot of people, but finally we were reminding ourselves. So Deb's stores, we're sorry we didn't get a picture with you. And I don't know if I actually... Jonna pointed you out. She was like, that's Deb over there. But that's when I was
wearing her
on the coffee line.
Emsworth vest by Isabel Kramer that I had just finished. So I spotted you right away.
Oh my goodness, Jonna. Am I going to have yarn barf? No, it's just tangled.
So I have a hypothesis about yarn barf that maybe I'll share.
No, it's stuck in the zipper of my little coin purse. There we go.
But I do have I've been doing some research on yarn barf and pulling from the center.
Right, because I pull from the center. And hardly,
from the outside,
ever, have yarn barf.
And why that possibly happens to some people and not others.
You want to tell us now or wait?
We can talk about it when we talk about our spinning class.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Because that's kind of
where you got the hypothesis
idea,
from.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, okay. So I'm apologizing ahead of time to anybody that I saw on Friday. I told some of you, I woke up Friday morning with the worst migraine on the planet. And I took medicine, and I didn't bring extra medicine with me. I just assumed the medicine would work. I thought, I'll get up, I'll eat, I'll have my coffee, I'll take some medicine, I'll be fine. On the way up, nothing was working, and it was really frustrating. And so Jonna said, why don't we stop? Because sometimes it felt like it was coming from my sinuses, like I was having allergies or something. So we stopped at a gas station and I got some Benadryl. And I think I might have also gotten something else, Motrin or something. Nothing worked.
I gave you like 6 Tylenol.
Oh yeah, you gave me.
Not all at once.
I didn't take it all at once. But I took, throughout the day I took more medicine and the headache would not go away. So I know for sure one person, I honestly couldn't remember who she was in the moment. And when later Jonna said, oh, it was so nice to meet Kathleen from Yarnia. She's so sweet. And I was like, oh, that's who that was, because my brain was not working. And so I saw her the next day and I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry that I was really it was the end of the day. By then I was done. I just really wanted to go home. And it was after Kevin and Ray's podcaster patio, which was lovely. We'll talk about that. But so if anybody else, I already apologized to Kathleen. I do know who you are, and thank you for not getting annoyed with me, but I definitely was struggling that day. So by the end of the day, I think I constantly had my hand like this, just pressure points on my head. So yeah, that's what was going on with me.
And that day, it was hard to just remember, I told you one time, I said, I'm so thirsty, I'm sorry, I'm just leaving this booth or wherever we were. I was like, I'm going to get water.
Yeah.
And
you also said a couple times, I just need to sit down.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I thought through, we rarely sat at all. I mean, did we sit?
Well, and we discussed bringing lawn chairs, and then we didn't.
It's just one more thing to carry.
Yeah, we didn't end up even making it over to the lawn area where we ended up taking that picture last year. Didn't even walk over there. So we did take a little walk just through the food area and the bandstand. Is that what you call it? And it was in the shade and just kind of to catch our breath.
And the beautiful view of the Hudson River.
Yeah.
But even walking up, see, first we just wander all around talking. But walking up, we could already tell there's a lot more people here than last year. Last year, under the, what would you call it?
Yeah, I guess I would call it like a canopy or a covered patio or arena. Is that
it
right?
An arena? I don't know what it's called. But underneath this roof, where all the vendors are, and they have their own little tents. Last year, there was a third, maybe, of how many there were this year. The whole center was kind of basically open last year. It wasn't really crowded in. It wasn't crowded in this year, but this year, the whole entire thing was full. And you could tell walking in, the small line we walked in last year was now only the ticket sales line if you didn't buy tickets. And then if you already had tickets, which we did, it was all the way along the side, and this line was really long. I mean, it went quickly, but
yeah, it did. I was surprised that the line was as long as it was because we got there at 12:30 after it opened.
Right.
But last year there were about 500 attendees, and this year we heard from someone that there were about 2,400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is that, 5 times more? Is that what you would call it? You're the mathematician.
I have to say, it was pretty crowded.
It was very crowded.
Yeah, so much so that there were some booths that we just didn't go in because there were too many people and we couldn't,
Yeah. So right before we started filming today, I ran over to pick up every stitch. I'll tell you why in a minute, but I'll tell you why now. Mayak only had a booth at Wool & Folk, and they did not have a booth at Rhinebeck, and they asked, when we were leaving, I says, do you need anything? Because we knew they had been there all day. And Paula said, can you take some yarn back to pick up every stitch?
I think they had brought 2 cars there, and they only had 1 car to bring home or something like that.
And they were suddenly realizing
they had way too much yarn.
Yeah. So that day we took 2 bags back, and then from Rhinebeck we took an additional 3 bags. Huge, I mean, I'm talking huge bags, huge duffel bags. So today I went and brought them. But when I went in, Beth said, tell me all about it. What was it like to go now that, you're podcasters? And it was really fun. But it was definitely, what did you call it? Like an alternate universe?
Oh, I texted my family. I said, yeah, so it feels like I landed in some alternate universe where I'm famous. I just
Jonna, who doesn't want to be the center of attention. You're basically quiet.
We just didn't know what to expect.
Homebody.
We didn't know what to expect.
No.
And you were like, oh, I bet nobody's going to recognize us. And
that's fine.
Yeah, and that was totally fine, but it wasn't like that at all.
No.
We were busy, shall we say, but in a good way.
Yeah, every 1 or 2 feet, especially in that first few hours when we were there, we got stopped. And it was so fun. Everybody was so sweet.
I think it was just so unexpected. So it was really just that first day where I felt like I just didn't anticipate anything like this. And so then by the second day, I was fine. And then just briefly, the second day, the neighbors had a fire pit and they invited us over for wine and just chatting and stuff. And one of the neighbors called my name, and I was like, I had this huge smile on my face. I was like, oh, it's like, I was
You're not meeting a fan.
I'm not meeting a fan. I just was so used to turning around with a big smile on my face. It just felt funny to actually
be with people who knew you.
Yeah, be with people who knew me. It was funny. Yeah. So, I mean,
I still can't. I said this a few times. So we were there all day Friday. We're still talking about Friday. Then we were all there Saturday, and she said yes to a social event afterward. I was fried.
I came home. I had a bath. I had like half a glass, or a tiny bit. So I tell my husband an inch of wine. So that's how much wine I drink, an inch. And and I went across the street, and they had a fire pit, and we talked about TV, and they all have little kids, so running around making s'mores, and it was just
can't believe
cool night. And
you did another social activity after 2 days of
But
nonstop.
the third day, I was on my back at 8. I was just couldn't move.
Sunday evening.
Yeah, but Kim's used to getting recognized, partly because her car has flowers all over it, partly because her hair is always a crazy color, And mostly because she taught preschool in the area where we live for many years.
Right. So.
And you went to high school here, or finished high school here.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's lived in this community a long time, whereas I've only lived here about 10 years. So I really I rarely run into someone I know. So someone is always yelling her name from across the street. So you're used to it.
But yeah, what were some of your favorite fan encounters?
Gosh. I don't know.
Okay, well, I have some. I wrote some down.
Oh, good. Because she wrote stuff down. Yeah, I didn't.
No, what about Ruth Hendricks and Flat Gale? The woman who had the little paper doll of her friend who was in Australia who couldn't come.
Okay, now I remember. That's right. So we took a picture with Flat Gale so that she could send it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then was she the same person who had COVID? No, it was a different person.
I think it was a different person.
Yeah, somebody else, their friend was meant to come, and she had COVID, so...
The friend's name was Fran. That was the friend's name was Fran.
And we did a little video and said hi to Fran. So that was fun.
Those were fun.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, and then I saw them the whole weekend. Ruth brought Flat Gale. And by the way, Flat Gale is Wool Swap on Instagram, and then she's been posting all of the greetings and the pictures with just everybody, not just us, everybody. It's so sweet.
Oh, that's funny.
It was such a sweet idea.
I
guess someone in her knitting group, I don't know if Ruth is the one who made the little paper doll, but she wrote that she has this little knitting group, and the knitting group all went, and she was the only one who couldn't go. So it was really sweet. I loved it. That was fun. And then I think one fan I remember, and I didn't ask her Instagram, so when I posted the picture, I couldn't even tag her. But it was really the first real young person. I mean...
Right.
But there was this young girl. She really looked like she was my daughter's age, maybe a little bit younger.
Are they from California?
Maybe. I don't remember.
She and her boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was his name? Her name was Sammy.
Yeah.
He had a really interesting name, and I can't remember what it is now. But she said, "Oh my goodness, I'm a fan of yours." And I think one of the first things I said was, "Jonna, look, we have young fans."
My husband, when we first started, or when we first started the podcast, or when I first started knitting, he was like, "Oh, only grandmas knit," and
a lot of people still think that.
A real attitude about it. And we saw lots of young people. We have lots of young fans, so that was fun.
A lot of people.
But one of the funniest, and it was at Woolen Folk, is we met this lovely woman and her husband. And her husband was wearing a kilt, and he wore a kilt all 3 days.
Yes.
And he was wearing a beautiful sweater. And he said, "Oh, I knit it." And I was just like, I laughed because I just, we forget that men knit. And actually, I looked up, the statistics are that there are more male knitters than male golfers in the entire world. So lots of men knit, just not in America maybe. And he was so proud of this sweater. I was just like blown away. And we ended up seeing them all 3 days.
And he had a different kilt on every day.
A different kilt. And he only has 3 kilts. So
he said, good thing it wasn't 4 days.
And
what was his name?
I don't know. Did he knit his kilt hose? Or did someone else knit
He did not,
them?
but you mentioned...
Yeah, we were talking about kilt hose. And, he's wearing the garters that Arna and Carlos make for themselves. Yeah. Anyway, it was just a spectacular sweater. Yeah. And there were lots of men wearing shawls. Lots of men. So it was really...
we met Jesus?
I was going to say, hi, Jesus.
And he was wearing that shawl, that mystery knit along from last year.
From last year, the Stephen West knit along from last year.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. We definitely saw some beautiful MCAL shawls from last year. Yeah, remember that one at Rhinebeck that was just all kinds of it almost looked like Christmas, like 1950s Christmas. It was just all kinds of colors. It was just beautiful.
The one on the hill?
Gold and red and blue.
And she didn't like it. Was that the one she didn't like hers?
Yeah, and it was absolutely beautiful.
But she wore it anyway.
And she was showing it to us, and actually someone from afar
Other people
saw it and came over to see it. So.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
But yes, we saw, speaking of guys, we ran into Kevin and Ray pretty much immediately from Needles at the Ready podcast. And it was just, that was really one of my highlights, was sitting on the hill and watching Kevin and Ray. I don't know that they were interviewing Denise, Earth Tones girl, who has the No Fear Shorties sock class, which is free on YouTube. And she's a great sock knitter, great tutorials, just a lovely person. And she actually just lives down the road from us, and we've never met her.
Yeah.
And she's never been to pick up every stitch. So I told her.
Yeah, she was in a booth. So you said, that's Earth Tones.
I know.
And we were walking around, and I was like, oh, I want to meet her.
Yeah. And she was in a booth that I did end up buying something. I told Kim, I said, I'm leaving. I'm going to buy something, and I'll be right back.
Denise DeSantis.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was so
hi,
sweet.
Denise. Yeah, she was
And
really
so she
sweet.
did the podcaster patio with
Kevin and Rick.
And it was so wonderful. That's later in the day, but that was really wonderful.
It was really sweet. And the weather was just cooling down, and somebody gave us, we didn't have anything to sit on, and the lawn was kind of damp. Someone gave us the bags to their folding chairs, and we sat on those.
Yeah, that was so nice. Thank you.
Did we both knit?
I sat there and knitted. It was, again, because I had the migraine, it was so nice to just sit on this hill, and behind the podcaster patio was the Hudson River and all the fall colors.
And they were just so funny and themselves, and just everybody was relaxed and chill, and I really loved it. So
I wanted to meet the MC. What was her name?
Start with a J.
I don't know. Anyway,
she's the one who organized it.
Yeah, she was beautiful. So other people that we fangirled, or I fangirled over, I mean you too, but Amy Gilles was there in a booth.
We thought she might know who we were, but I don't think she did.
I don't think she did. But that's okay. That's fine.
I think the only reason I thought that was because Paula, I think, had mentioned us to her, and I thought maybe she might.
And I've messaged her,
but she meets lots of people.
About my Amina and other things. Like I've gotten permission from her to use the picture of her in the Amina on our channel. But if I was thinking about it, she is one, like, we thought we had a little line of people.
Right.
And this was last year. I saw her last year.
There was a line of people.
Oh, yeah. I saw her last year, and I didn't even say
she was
hi.
signing books, too. Yeah. She was signing worsted books.
So, so we just said hi to Amy Gilles. And then I saw Jennifer Parasini that day. We didn't take a picture that day, but she's the designer of that Stella sweater.
Right.
That is one of my sweaters.
I had bought her for Christmas, I think, last year.
And I did buy the yarn, by the way. I went back to Westport Yarns, and I bought the yarn, which I'll show eventually when I knit it. And we met Olga Patano.
I know.
The designer
of Here Comes the Sun.
Of Here Comes the Sun.
And she's just a lovely young woman. So.
And
she was wearing one of her newest designs.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. There were a group of women
all wearing the same.
Yeah, this one Emily who told me the next day she was going to wear. No, was it the next day? She was going to wear Here Comes the Sun. That was her Rhinebeck
sweater.
We
found her at Rhinebeck.
Yes, we found her at Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so Olga was there, and she stood at the Mayak booth for a little while because are they doing a collaboration too? Yeah. And then near the end of the day, want to tell them how you wanted to run over and see the grocery girls? So maybe she doesn't remember. So we were scheduled to be at the Mayak booth from 3 to 4, and we had been talking about it to you guys.
Well, I wasn't sure where the podcaster patio was.
Right.
Remember, I thought it was in that corner?
Yes, we thought it was in the bandstand.
Right. And I just wanted to sneak. No, I thought it was like in this corner where the food was. Somebody said it's over there, and so I was in the wrong place.
But see, I got the wrong impression because we were scheduled to be at Maya from 3 to 4. And then actually, Paula contacted me because then just last week they announced the times
of the
podcasters. And so there's obviously a conflict because at that very time at 3 is the grocery girls and Gigi, Gay. So, of course, I would never expect anyone to come see us if they can go see the grocery girls and Gay. So Paula said, do you want to change it? And I said, no, I'll just put on Instagram. We'll be there a few minutes early and whatever. It was fine.
It was during that time that I was like, I'm just sneaking over there.
She's like, I want to go see the girls. I thought she meant she wants to go sit in the grass, which I would have loved to do as well.
No.
I would have, but that's what I wanted to do, was go sit in the grass and listen.
So she thought I was like jumping ship and just
I thought she wanted. And so finally she said, no, I just want to go look at them.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well then just go. That was funny. And you got to look at them.
I did.
And that was the first time
we met them later.
Yeah, you really saw the podcaster patio, like what it was. It was a table with a little tent over it with 3 microphones. And then it was like a natural amphitheater because there was a little hill in front of it. So the audience could just sit on the hill.
Yeah. So I didn't stay and watch. I came right back.
She did. She did. And then later that day, we saw them walking around. So
And they had lots of people wanting to talk to them, but they were very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met Tracy and her sister Jody.
Yeah. And right near there was it just happened a little bit later, Gay, Glaspie, Gigi, or the orange lady was there, and she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I wish I looked good in orange, 'cause it's such a beautiful color, but
so that was really fun.
It was, and these are real celebrities, so.
Oh, and another moment when I was like, there's Corinne from the Woolly Thistle!
That's the next one on my list.
I know. Well, we were coming down off the podcaster patio, and I saw her, and so she has a podcast also with another woman who, and her name is escaping me at the moment, but they do the podcast together. And, you know, the Woolly Thistle is one of my favorite places to buy yarn online, and they sell woolly wools. So they sell British wool and, you know, wool from outside the country. They've just started to carry some, actually they just started selling their own sock yarn.
Oh,
that they developed here with local yarn from
Where
the
are they?
United
They're
States.
in New Hampshire.
They're in New Hampshire. So they don't have a brick and mortar store. But so I've just chatted with her briefly over email about yarn and about something that I purchased.
But how do you know what these people look like? Because you really are good at recognizing people. I don't really recognize.
I can recognize them and talk about them, but I can't remember anything.
You're funny.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, you were really excited to say hi to her.
Yeah, I was really excited, and she was just so lovely.
So lovely.
And we took a picture with her.
We did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and we didn't take a picture with the boys that day.
No, and then we saw the Knitting Posse, of course.
Yes.
And we sat with them for the podcaster patio to watch.
Kate, Kim, and Laura. Our buddies.
And we didn't...
Who've gone before us. I feel like they've been doing this a lot longer. And so we all...
They're the ones who told us what it would be like this weekend.
Right.
What did they say, remember?
Yeah, they said it was going to be crowded and that it was going to be...
people would come up.
Yeah, we were going to be busier than we expected.
We really couldn't believe that anyone would come up and say hi. I mean, we're so happy people did. But
well, and we could even see some people looking at us, but maybe they were too shy to come up, or they were, we were too far away.
Or there was a long line. Maybe they wanted to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But here we're sitting in Jonna's little knitting sewing room, and there's just a wall behind us and a camera.
Right.
So to us, the viewers weren't really real. I mean, they are. We answer comments. Right, but on YouTube, there's just a little... Is there ever a picture? There's just a little letter.
Like literally the size of a thumbnail.
Teeny tiny little picture. Or even on Instagram, a lot of people don't... They have pictures of the objects they make, but not themselves. It's just... It was so nice to put real faces to the viewers and to our fans. And like you said, it's going to forever change how we film. Right. What we think.
I mean, it was a little intimidating. I've felt a little overwhelmed and nervous and like, wow, there really are people out there. So
people really watch us.
I know.
And some people said, I've watched all your videos and then I've watched them again and I've even watched them again.
I know.
And that's something
I'm afraid to go back to the first video.
I don't want to see them, I know.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
It was.
But one other person that we saw that day, and we have a picture and I'm inserting it in.
And she ran over. Hi, Pat.
Pat.
And she was wearing one of our t-shirts.
She was wearing our t-shirt, so we'll insert a picture here. That was so sweet.
That was really fun. And she's actually a member of our channel, and the members of our channel have access to a private Facebook group.
Yes.
So we've gotten to know her a little bit better, and that small group of people a little bit better. So. And
we also she won one of the 30-minute Zooms.
Yeah.
So we got to talk with her as well. So it's fun getting to know people better, and we really look forward to getting to know more and more of you.
I'm just really stunned and overwhelmed and grateful and surprised, and it was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, really fun. It really was. It was so much easier than I thought it would be. Although I did have a migraine that day.
Right, yes. We did no shopping.
I tried. After the podcaster patio, things had really cleared up. Before, you could barely walk between...
But by then you had such a bad headache. Yeah.
I couldn't even focus.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think about anything. And at one point I just said, after we met the grocery girls in Gay, I just turned to her quietly and said, I think I'm done. I think I have to go. Because it ended at 7. I think that was around 6. So we just ran by the Mayak booth, and that's when we asked.
That's when we got the bags of yarn. And there were people helped us carry them.
When they asked us to bring some bags of yarn home, I was not picturing
It's surprising how much yarn weighs.
Huge, huge duffel bags.
Those huge IKEA blue
stuffed
zipper bags.
full.
Mm-hmm.
And we parked really far away that day. So we, carried those out to the entrance, and then I went and got the car and brought it back. But that's when we left.
I bought something at Wool & Folk.
Did you? What'd you buy?
did.
Show us.
So in the booth where Denise Santos was hanging out, and also Kevin and Ray were like, "Oh, did you go to this booth?" And I was like, "No." So I ran over. This is when I told Kim, I'm like, "I'm going to buy something. I will be right back." And I ran over to Woolens and Nosh.
Oh, this was like 5 minutes before we were supposed to be at my act.
I know, but Wool & Folk is a small festival. You can run from one end to the other. I could see the booth
from where I was. Yeah, it was funny.
So this is the Earth Tones Girl special colorway.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
I don't know that I saw what you bought there.
This is called Falling in Love.
Wow, fall.
And it's
falling. Oh my goodness,
it's 90% Targhee, 10% nylon. And yeah, I just thought it was beautiful.
What colors are in there? Pink
and like a burgundy, brown, gold, orange, all the colors of the trees.
Just gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
So anyway, it was cool because every colorway had a little swatch knit up, and that's one of my things really was sock yarn and self-striping and speckled. Like, what is it going to look like?
So what booth was that?
Woolens and Nosh. Nosh, like things to eat. Yeah. And I think Ray has made socks with this colorway. And this one is called Sprout. And it's got this cute little contrast color with brown and specks of white. And this is just gorgeous. It's like turquoise, all different kinds of shades of green, from mint to kind of a sage green. Oh, almost like a forest green here. Really, really dark burgundy. And yeah, so I just grabbed some sock yarn. And, self-striping socks, you just want to see the next color. Oh, I'm just going to see the next color. One more stripe. And then you admire it as you knit it. So I feel like they're really, they go really fast. So anyway.
But you'll have to do a different kind of heel because
yes,
a heel flap and gusset doesn't work for self-striping yarn.
Right. So I might do a fish lips kiss heel.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And you wanted to go to the sock machine class, but we never made it.
It was like a demonstration at Rhinebeck. And we got there a little bit late on Sunday, so I wasn't able to go. And Saturday morning, I don't know.
Is that your phone that's dinging?
My watch is on Do Not Disturb, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just didn't know what it was.
So that's all the dinging. I don't know. It's on theater mode.
As long as it's not an emergency.
I know.
Just make sure it's not an emergency. It really doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. But you wanted to start knitting socks in one big long tube, right?
Right. And so I've had a few questions about that. And someone said, how are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know. I was going to figure that out when I had the tube done. So, but that's not actually true because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is what I'm going to do. So when I finish the tube, so there's going to be a cuff at each end. I'm going to look at the Crazy Sock Lady videos for true afterthought heels and toes. And also my friend Claudia, I don't know if I got me a book, and it's all about knitting 2 socks at once. So
I think that we talked something about it in the viewer tips and tricks video because somebody told us about knitting in one log tube. So I think we talked about it in that video, and there was.
And I think I mentioned the Crazy Sock Lady.
Is that what it was? Okay.
The true afterthought heels and toes.
Okay.
Where you don't put in like a waste yarn to go later and pick up stitches. So, so that's what I'll do because I just like knitting tubes. But anyway, back to sock knitting machines is, I don't think that they take some time. It's time to learn and it's time to crank, but you can just crank out a sock tube and then add the cuffs and heels and toes later. So I did want to see the demonstration. The machines are really expensive, like $1,500 to $2,000.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no!
Not just a little crank one like Arnie and Carlos have with their I-cord?
No, they're metal workings and they have these pins. And,
oh wow!
I've watched videos actually on YouTube of people cranking socks, and I don't know. I just wanted to see it done in real life. So anyway, we missed the sock knitting machine demo.
Okay. Well, sorry about that.
Yeah, but
I'm sure we can see videos of it.
I stumbled across a spinning contest So people were using drop spindles to see how many yards, who could spin the most, the greatest number of yards or whatever. So that was fun.
Oh,
and there were young kids.
Yes.
We were just shocked at
amazing.
all the young kids who were spinning and weaving and knitting and sewing.
Yeah. That was so cool.
It was really crazy.
So let's move on to Saturday. That was Friday, right?
Yep.
And on the way home, by the way, I really was like hoping and literally praying that I would go to sleep that night and wake up with no migraine.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
I was half worried that I was going to be at Rhinebeck by myself.
Yeah. I couldn't believe I woke up.
Well, and I even offered to drive home on Friday. And you said no.
I don't mind driving. It was fine. It was fine. But yeah, so I had no headache Saturday. Yay! So Saturday we had to get there early.
Yes, really early. I think we left. I think we left here at 7:30.
Yes, because we had
which was even a little bit later than we expected, but
but we still got there in time. The hand spindle or drop spindle. What do we call it?
A drop spindle class that started at 10. So we got there around 9.
Yeah.
When they opened. And we got to park in the workshop parking lot, so we weren't in the main parking lot. The line wasn't very long at all.
Yeah.
And you got your breakfast.
I forgot to bring breakfast because I don't remember why I was running late. I was just kind of a little frazzled.
I had my lunchbox with all my snacks.
Yeah, we did bring, did we say that already? We brought all our food for the whole weekend because we didn't want to have to wait. We knew the lines would be long.
They were super long at Rhinebeck.
Yeah. And at Willenfolk. They were really long.
So I heard the food was really good, though.
Yeah. But we were really...
It smelled good. They had barbecue, and it smelled amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that morning, Saturday morning, I went to Starbucks to get a coffee and completely forgot to get egg... I like egg bites. They're just easy and simple. So I was going to get egg bites, and I forgot. So when I got there early, thank goodness, before the class, I grabbed an egg sandwich, which
it
was delicious.
It looked amazing.
Yeah. And then we found our classroom. And the teacher was...
Jonna K.
Yes. And what did we wear that day?
I wore my Emsworth vest and a linen dress and tights.
And it was freezing cold
and it was
that
cold.
morning.
Unfortunately, I brought my hoarfrost shawl by Andrea Mowry. So I wrapped that around. It wasn't decorative. It was definitely for warmth. And
I just
I had a hat. I brought my my Kate Davies...
Oh, that beautiful hat.
Piri
I love so much.
Hat.
Have we ever shared that? I don't think so.
We're going to do a hat video. We actually...
At the end of this week, we might film it and show it next week or something. But I was freezing because I would rather be cold than warm. That's just me. So I wore jeans. I always wear jeans. And I wore my Daily Dell, which is a short sleeve, baby yak and just a denim jacket. I was so cold until we got into the classroom.
It was heated.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
Was it actually literally heated?
Yeah, it was literally heated.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because then I definitely was warmer. And by the time we finished the class, it was,
Sorry.
No, it really doesn't. It's fine.
Off.
Sorry, the phone, her Apple Watch was dinging again.
I did put it on theater mode. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
Anyway.
But by the time we got out of the class, it was then noon, so it was warmer and the sun was shining, so I was totally fine. But
it was beautiful.
Walking from the car to the classroom, I didn't know if I was going to make it. I was really cold.
It was probably in the high 40s Fahrenheit. But they had tea and coffee, so we got some warm liquid, or I did anyway. And
I did
they had cider.
You had cider.
So I had some of that.
I had brown water.
Yeah, and there was a
AKA coffee, but
yeah, it was like brown water. They had those big coffee urns, and I took some hot water and mixed it with the cider, but then I later went back and saw that there was a sign that said this is hot water for basket weaving and dyeing. So then I had a little panic moment thinking, oh my gosh, what if there was like
chemical
in it or something? I was like, okay, well, let's just see if something happens. And nothing happened. But anyway, I did drink out of the basket weaving and dyeing urn accidentally. But I'm
and the brown water was wonderful because it was warm. Right. So I was very grateful for the brown water. I already had my Starbucks yummy coffee earlier, so I was fine.
Yeah, so we joined the class, and there were about 15 people, would you say?
I'm not sure. 15 or 20.
Yeah, and drop spindles for everybody, and they're pretty rudimentary. I mean, they worked.
Yeah.
And there was fiber, and it was cool because she just kind of got us started, and then she started to talk about the finer points of using a drop spindle
as we were practicing.
And I'm pretty sure I was the only one who dropped their spindle like at least 4 or 5 times.
She specifically said it's not called a drop spindle because you drop it.
But I dropped mine a bunch of times. the wool that we were using, the fiber we were using, had a really long staple. And so it was hard to pull. If you pull shorter,
it had like a 6 or 7 inch staple, right? She said
you actually can't pull it, so you have to get your fingers right at the staple length so you can thin the roving out. Is that called roving?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was definitely trickier than I expected because you have to spin the spindle and draft the yarn at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And
although she did teach it in separate steps, which was nice. But then it's more fun to do it all at once, and we stood up. And that's when it's called drop spindle, because as you're drafting, the spindle, the weight of it is dropping. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but I mean, for part of the class, my elbow was like way up here. I was like, this is not comfortable.
This is hard work. It was hard, yeah.
But then, Donna was standing up there, and her spindle is dropping, and her hands are even, and she's
all relaxed,
very relaxed,
delicate, and yeah, it was funny.
I definitely need more practice.
First, we had this beige.
Here's my yarn.
Just natural. What's it called? Roving, and we did that first, and then we connected this brown roving, and then we were supposed to do that on top of it, connected.
Sticky. Very sticky.
And then the class was 3 hours, and so in the last really 45 minutes.
10. I mean, 2. We went.
2 hours. I'm sorry, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
We thought it ended at 1. That's a whole other story, but it ended at 12, so it was 2 hours. So in the last, really half hour, 45 minutes, half hour was when we connected the brown, and then you were supposed to spin all the brown. You can see I did not spin all my brown. And then when you're done with that, you were supposed to then, from your spindle, wrap the yarn around your hand and then tie the brown end to the beige end, and then reconnect that to the spindle.
And ply them.
And then ply them. And then you start the ply going, and then you spin your spindle, and from your hand, the brown and the beige then ply together, and you were supposed to finish that whole entire thing. But honestly, by the time it got to doing the brown, I did a little brown. I got to the point where I finally understood and figured out how to keep the twist on one side of my pinched finger. That was the hardest part for me, is you're supposed to keep the twist on one side, and then the roving is supposed to have absolutely no twist in it whatsoever. And I kept accidentally getting twist in my roving, and then you really can't draft it. So when I got to the point at the end of the white and the beginning of the brown where I figured out how to, not that I could ever do it again, figured out how to do that successfully and keep my roving without any twist in it, then I was like, I've learned enough for today. Yeah. It was really fun, but I really was done. I was kind of done, and so I just watched, and everybody else did their plying and everything, and it was so fun and beautiful, but I think I was finished. I think from the day before, I was just, it was very fun. I had so much fun. I learned so much, but I was done.
And I did what I normally do in class, in any class, so it doesn't matter what the subject is I listen out of one ear, and then I just kind of do my own thing. I know, it's so bad.
It is so funny.
But I don't know, I have this process, and I just have to kind of learn for myself. And so finally it did click. Like, intellectually, I knew what I was supposed to do, but my brain and my fingers couldn't quite connect and do it. But I understand exactly what I'm supposed to do.
So you're more of an oral, AURAL, kinesthetic learner, not necessarily visual. You see it, and then you, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're
and
more
I like to figure things out on my own. Yeah.
And I'm more of a visual. So in the end, when I was done, it helped me more to just sit and watch people and watch the mistakes they made and watch the successes they had and watch the teacher as she went around and talked to everyone. That helps me a lot. Not necessarily doing it.
And that's when I check out.
So funny.
Anyway, it was great fun.
Yes.
And I'm so glad I know what to do with a spindle. I have one from my aunt from California. And I said, and probably on this channel, I was never ever going to buy fiber. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Just not. But on day 2 of Rhinebeck Sunday, we went to this sweet booth. And this man who makes drop spindles was there, and he gave us a little demo, and he really cleared some things up for us. And he was out of spindles, so I didn't buy one. But I did buy some mohair and merino roving 4 ounces. And, he talked to us a little bit about the fiber that we were using to spin is wool, 100% wool, and it was so grippy.
Oh, they were from Yellow Dog Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen and Jim.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, they were very sweet.
Yeah, and they explained that the wool roving was so grippy. Like, if you got it too short in the staple length, then you couldn't pull it apart. But then if you were far enough, I don't know, it just didn't glide very easily. And so they explained to us that was, a characteristic of the wool. And he was using some mohair and merino to spin with. And so he did a little demo for us. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of cemented in my brain what it was I was supposed to be doing. But they were lovely. And, gave us a little tutorial.
An additional, that next day tutorial definitely also helped. Mm-hmm. And we also asked about, because when we left the drop spindle class, we didn't walk away with drop spindles, although you have 3 from your aunt. Mm-hmm. But we asked him, you also haven't been able to ask somebody about those. Mm-hmm. So you got to ask him about what kind of drop spindles he likes.
Right.
And what's important when buying one, right?
Mm-hmm. And his spindles were weighted. The spindles we were using were like a wooden dowel with a plastic disc. Mm-hmm. And they were fine, but they didn't have the weight, I think, that perpetuates the spinning.
And they didn't have the notch either?
Yeah, they didn't have the notch.
Now we even know what that is.
I know. So, yeah, I see the value in using a nicer spindle. So I'm going to try it. I haven't tried it out.
So you'll try it on the 3 that you have now from your aunt, and then if you feel like those don't work, then you can go buy one.
But I would love to be able... And then we're like, oh, well, if you get a spinning wheel or you use an e-spinner, then the spinning part is taken care of, and all you have to focus on is the drafting. Mm-hmm. I could be oversimplifying that, so forgive me if I am. But... I know, but I feel like it was the combination of spinning and drafting that was tricky to learn. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it definitely was. It wasn't, and everyone says, "Oh, it's so relaxing. You can do it. Mm-hmm. If you have 5 minutes, you can do it here. You can do it there. You can walk around and do it." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, this does not seem like relaxing at all." Yeah. But you could see when she was doing it, it was just a very gentle, almost like petting your dog.
Right.
Really a beautiful thing, but it wasn't relaxing for me. My arm hurt so much because I kept having to hold it up.
I think I bought one other thing in that booth, which is this. It's Geraldine's Tresses Brushed Mohair. 78% mohair, 13% merino, Yellow Dog Farm, South Hero, Vermont. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a friend who loves this color. Actually, she likes something a little bit more blue than this, but I don't know. It's just big skein of turquoise fuzz, and I thought it was pretty.
I saw a crate. Maybe I'll insert a picture here. I took a picture of it because this yarn, it was so vibrant and gorgeous, and I wanted to buy it so badly. I thought for like a striped, super simple summer sweater or something like that, I wanted to buy it so badly, but I had already made 2 big purchases, and I was like, you know what? That's enough for one fiber festival. Mm-hmm. But I took a picture, and I fully intend to contact them or find another.
What vendor was that?
That was Yellow Dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the same place. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was right to the left of their cash register.
Okay.
This crate facing out with these gorgeous yarns.
I'm not sure I saw it.
Yeah, just the most glorious, really rich gem tones, really fully saturated. That's what I like. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy some in the future.
Yeah.
But we know that I have many projects to knit first. I kept telling myself that. Like, you have so many things to knit, and you're going to knit them, and so you can buy that next year. Because I have 14, 15 sweaters. It's going to take me a year to knit them all.
And I thought it was funny. On Sunday, my husband drove, so Kim and I were passengers. And my dad came along too, and he brought his scooter. And I thought it was funny. My husband's like, "Well, don't you already have, you have all this yarn?"
I kept my mouth shut.
No, you didn't. No,
you
didn't. No, she totally stuck up for me. She's like, no, Jonna totally... And I said, I totally
when he asked that. Stash. When he first asked, "Don't you have enough yarn? You have so much yarn." Then I kept my mouth shut. Yeah. But then when he said, he paused, and then it was kind of a long pause. And then he said, "Have you ever knit from your stash?" And that's when I said, "Of course she has."
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I totally do. And I really do.
She does, absolutely.
I do.
All the time.
I do.
I can think of so many things. The duck. I mean, I can think of so many things that are right out of your stash.
Oh, and I love, when I'm one of those people, I'm not a planner, so when inspiration strikes and I have exactly what I need in my stash, that makes me very happy. So I think he understood that. And then, of course, we had to go on and on about some people's stash is bigger than my stash. But anyway.
Well, I just wanted to reinforce your stash really, this is it. It really is not that big, as some of you can relate to.
Yes, we actually met a woman who said that she keeps some of her stash in her car. Like she had to buy a car to keep some of her stash. So.
Oops.
Yeah.
So then, after the class was finished, thank you for the warm coffee. Jonna just went and got us warm coffee. We had lunch. We tried to shop. We gave up. We went to the hill. Then we did kind of shop a little bit. Then we went back to the hill. And then we were done, and we grabbed the Mayak yarn and left. So let's go through a few of those things.
Okay.
So lunch, we went out. We brought our lunch, so we sat on a bench.
Yep.
That was our first time in public now at Rhinebeck. Right?
Where do we eat lunch?
Just on that bench right outside. Near the bag check.
Right.
And because we really hadn't been out in public, we came in the back way. Nobody was really around when we went into the class. No one in the class knew us, which is totally fine. And then we went out, and so sure enough, we sit down, and then people, they were really sweet. They're like, "I'm so sorry you just sat down. Can I just say hi?" And they didn't ask for pictures while we were eating.
No.
I brought quinoa for lunch every day, so I was always worried that we would do a quinoa check.
I know.
Do I have quinoa in my teeth? And then after that, we had scheduled, again, to meet our fans at 3 o'clock on the hill.
Not knowing that the general time for meeting podcasters is 1.
But it really isn't. No. Because then Kristen went Sunday, and she met hers,
at a different place, not even on
right.
the hill.
And then I read somewhere else, someone met theirs at 2:30. So
okay.
It's hard to figure out. There's no publicized, like this is Podcaster Hill, or, because it isn't even, it's just celebrities, because designers as well. And I was trying to listen to see if there was a set thing, but there really wasn't. So, but you heard that Kevin and Ray were going to be there at 1. So we thought, let's run over at 1 and see Kevin and Ray.
Yeah.
So we had a half hour after lunch. So we thought, let's go into Building D right here. We're right across from Building D. Let's just walk over there and go in. And that was really then when
we realized that shopping was maybe out of the question.
Besides the crowds.
Yeah, and those first 4 buildings are really crowded.
Yes.
I guess there's 3 buildings.
Yes.
And one of them is the classrooms for the workshops.
Oh, really? So A, B, C, and then D was the classrooms.
Right. And then E is the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got to the front door, and people came up to us and said, "Oh my goodness, it's Kim and Jonna." And then it's kind of disconcerting, but there's the people talking to you, and then there's the people behind them, and then there's the people behind them, and they all have their phones out, and it's like, oh my goodness, like, wow, we do have fans. I don't know. It wasn't really like that at Woolens because it was so crowded. People would just come up.
And I thought, there's going to be like 30,000 people attend Rhinebeck every year. And I thought, there's so many people. There's so many people from everywhere. We might just maybe not see
blend into the crowd.
Yeah, we might not see as many people who recognize us, but that was not the case.
No. It was fun. And everybody says, well, of course, my hair.
Right.
People see
She's
my hair.
easy to spot.
I'm easy to spot. But again, it was so lovely. And everyone says, is it okay if I take your picture? Is it okay if I post it? And we were like, of course.
Everyone was so nice.
Really sweet.
Yes. Very
really
nice.
Lovely. And so that was really fun. So we didn't actually shop then.
And then I was more prepared also. So I was just less nervous. And so it was fine.
And also some of the people who had already seen us at Woolens Folk.
Right.
Right?
Right. Just kind of waved or...
say hi again.
Hi again. Right.
So then we felt like we already knew people.
Right.
That was fun.
I think part of the nerves of Friday and Woolens Folk was just not knowing what to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely walking in blind, having no idea. So then we went to the hill for the first time at 1 o'clock, not when we were scheduled. And there were lots of people there.
Yeah.
It was fun. We didn't specifically go talk to anyone other than Kevin and Ray, though, right?
We didn't see Andrew and Mallory until
later.
The second.
That was later.
Later.
But we said hi to them.
Yeah. And it was nice to chat to them about, when we started the podcast, we still don't know what we're doing. But it was nice to talk to another couple who podcast and just kind of all the technical things. And like they look at an iPad. So when Ray is talking to Kevin, he's talking to Kevin on the screen, but we record with a camera. So all we see is the camera. So
right, we don't see anything.
So when I'm talking to you, I turn to talk to you. So it was cool to kind of talk about microphones and just logistics and, you know, how does one create a podcast?
And editing and everything.
It was really fun, and they were very sweet.
Yeah. It was also fun to see the hill before we actually were meeting our fans on the hill, although our fans were there because they're fans of everybody. So we did have people come up and say hi, which was really fun. And actually, that day, my husband was with us. That was Saturday, and he wasn't feeling great, so he wasn't with us the whole time, but it was fun for him to see, you know, in real life.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
And the trees are every shade of gold
gorgeous.
and orange and yellow and burgundy, and the leaves were gently swaying to
and
the ground.
falling through the picture as you take a picture. It was like a movie
The
set.
sun was shining, and the weather was amazing.
It was really beautiful.
Yes.
But then we decided not to hang out there too long because we were going to be there later. So we left, and then we did actually shop or go through buildings C, B, and A. Kind of up and down every row. And
I just walked really fast because we just kind of wanted to see, you know,
the lay of the land.
Yeah, exactly. And
although the very first building we went in, partway down on the right, I fell in love with a yarn. We almost walked by this booth, but the way we love it when the yarn is hanging in the hank. It's beautiful when it's wound up in a
I had been to that
twisted
farm in Long Island on a yarn crawl. So I'd actually been to the farm.
Long Island Yarns farm.
Been to their farm store and bought a kit there at their farm store in Long Island. So I knew they're in the same place they were the previous years. Yeah, and they just have it's just gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Their booth it's
like being in a jewelry store and seeing gorgeous jewelry.
You know, these buildings have concrete floors, but they had like a rubber mat floor, and they had lighting, and all their yarn is just beautifully displayed, and it's not crowded. You know, the yarn.
Yeah, they must have had like a
crowded.
doubly wide booth. They must obviously pay extra.
So anyway, that was the first time I had introduced Kim to Long Island yarns.
And I'm unfamiliar with most of it. I really do buy most, if not all, of my yarn from Pick Up Every Stitch. So if it's not something there, and I'm not the kind of person who looks at the label and really pays attention. If it's the right weight, and it's usually Karen and Felicia who pick it out for me, and it's the right color that I want, I don't even really, fiber content, sure. If it's a drapey sweater, then they make sure it's the right, I really don't pay attention. I am more now because of the channel. But I saw this. What color would you call it? Well, you're going to find out. I bought it the next day, but it is here.
And that's one of the things I love about fiber festivals is you get to buy farm yarn. I mean, we can buy other brands of yarn online anytime we want. But I want to go and see what's special, what's that batch that was dyed this year. There'll never be another batch like it. To go and feel it and see it in person.
My papers are going to fall off my lap.
So I think for me, it's buying farm yarn.
So all the yarn is hanging like this, and I was just browsing through, and I saw this yarn.
And her husband also loved it. So
I will insert a picture. I did buy it the next day on Sunday, but I saw this yarn hanging there, and just the different colors of purple and kind of pink, and it doesn't even look as good here, but the lighting it is still gorgeous.
It's 70% alpaca and 30% merino.
Yes, and I touched it, and I just really wanted to buy it, and I figured I would use it for that make home sweater that the boho chic fiber sweater. That's what I was thinking I would use it for, and it's soft and beautiful. I needed 6 hanks for it, and it's not cheap, so it was going to be like an investment. It's an investment sweater. So I just kind of wanted to think about it, and it literally was like the third booth I saw, or really the first one I walked in. I didn't want to make my first big, huge purchase.
That's sport weight, and it's 200 yards.
And I think the make home calls for a DK, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Right. This looks like a nice squishy
I'll just do a
sport.
swatch and then make the fabric that I like and adjust if I have to.
It's a gorgeous color, and it matched her hair.
Yeah, and my husband said, take a picture of it. So I took a picture of the label and it hanging there so I would remember. And we left that booth and I thought about it all night long. And by the next day, I had, really decided that I was going to buy it. So I did the next day. We'll talk about that in a minute. But.
And, honestly, once their yarn is sold out, they might not have any more. So it's not like you could maybe buy it later online.
And I noticed there was a lot of it. So I was just taking my chance. But I really did not want to spend that much money in the very first booth.
Right. And I bought one skein from there.
That day? Or the next day?
No, this day.
Oh, that day.
Yeah, the first day. And this is worsted weight. It's 60% alpaca, 30% merino, and 10% silk. And the color is Celestial Sky.
Yeah.
And this has flecks of like a royal blue, a turquoise
blue. It's navy, basically, the base, right? Would you call it that?
I guess it's not black.
It's not black?
Very, very, very dark. And all kinds of speckles. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it from the silk. So I'm going to make my son-in-law a hat because every year I make him a hat.
He loves the hats you make him.
He has lots and lots of hats, and he primarily wears one hat. But I showed him the yarn. He said he liked it. So I think it'll make a beautiful hat. I have no idea which hat pattern I'm going to use. Maybe, no, I don't know.
That's
Maybe
beautiful.
just something plain because it's going to knit up so beautifully. Beautifully, beautifully.
Yes, it will knit up beautifully.
Which is, she learned that the word fun is actually a noun.
A viewer. Because I always say, oh, that's so fun.
Right.
And a viewer told us, oh, now I have yarn in my nose. A viewer told us that, or reminded us, I guess I knew this at some point, fun is not an adjective it's not an adjective. It's a noun. So you have to say so much fun.
Not so fun.
Yes. So I'm trying to say it correctly.
We're learning all kinds of things.
All kinds of fun things that we never thought we needed to know. So yeah, we made it. Did you buy anything else that day?
No, I don't think so. I can't remember what day I bought the soap. I think I did buy the soap on the first day also. No, because we didn't make it down to those booths.
Yeah, no, we only stayed in buildings A, B, C. We did go, actually.
No, I think we did.
We did go to the bottom floor of the two-story building.
And it was in that, it was in that same barn.
Right. So there's the 5 main buildings kind of when you come in the front entrance on the right, up on that hill. And then across from there, beyond the food area, they're more like the livestock buildings for like a typical county fair. And so some of them are livestock buildings. So there's sheep and alpacas and all kinds of animals. And some of them are then converted into yarn booths or other fiber, people who woodworking.
And those are some of my favorite booths.
Yes.
Because it's where all the real farmy people are, the farmy yarn.
Yeah, they cover up the sawdust with carpets and things. And then, so we only made it
crafts and
that day, Saturday, into the lower floor of, actually that's more of a permanent building. So the only like permanent regular building over there on the bottom floor.
So I bought at Simpler Time, spelled like the herb, some more Moth Beware. So it's essential oils. It's it doesn't really say what's in here, but it's very potent. And I already have the little cedar chips and the little potpourri, so I'm just going to add more of
the oil
to my little sachets. And they also sell goat milk soap.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Where was I when you bought this?
I don't know. Yeah. And I can't remember. I should have written what flavors I bought. It's kind of an earthy one.
I think I was kind of at the end of my rope then too. Just my husband wasn't really feeling well, and so we just kind of wandered through that building.
I just bought the little wooden thing. So you know how when bar soap gets gooey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it sits in water. So I bought one of those.
So it has little ridges, so the goo will wash off.
So I love goat milk, goat cheese, goat anything. So I bought the goat soap and my oil. So yeah, I think that was
And
day
you
one.
also went to
Starcroft.
Yeah? Oh, okay. I thought it was called Nash Island, but it's called Starcroft.
The yarn is called Nash Island Tide.
Okay.
Starcroft Fiber, which is one of my favorite yarn producers in Maine. So this is Wild Maine Island Wool. And I have a hat that I would like to reknit because I'm a much better knitter now. It's all color work. The whole hat was color work, and it's definitely puckery. And I didn't use
You knit this
wool
early on. I could not
on.
believe when I saw her knitting this hat. What was the name of the pattern?
Piri Floris.
This, and I had never knit color
By
work.
Kate Davies.
It is so gorgeous, even though she thinks it's puckery.
I do.
When you put it on and you wear it's gorgeous. I'll take it. I don't wear hats. I'll take it. Or
That's
give it
actually
back
my
to
daughter
Laura.
Laura's hat,
Give it back
yeah.
to Laura. Okay.
But it should have been made with, a Shetland wool, something sticky, something woolly wool. And I chose the wrong yarn.
It's gorgeous, though.
So I had it
It's gorgeous.
I had it in my mind that I was going to make another hat. The second day of Rhinebeck, I wore my Lunenburg pullover, which is knit in Nash Island Tide by Starcroft Fiber. So I knew that I had the leftovers from that. So I thought,
and thank you to the fan who told us that it's Lunenburg. I knew of the town, the town of Lunenburg from Nova Scotia. I've been there, but I honestly didn't realize that the sweater was named after that town. So we kept calling it Lunenburg, right?
On the way to Boston, when I visit my brother, you can see the exit for Lunenburg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't know. So I bought 4 colors, 2 blues and 2 greens, and their booth, and you'll insert a picture, is just, I just stand there and I don't know what to buy because I actually want to just buy everything.
And it's like the simplest booth.
It is. It's very, very simple.
Bare bones, simple booth.
Right.
But
not a ton of yarn.
Stunning yarn. Yes.
Just a few samples. They do carry fabric. They have an online shop, and I think it's Clementine.com, but I'll put it in the show notes. So you can buy this yarn online.
Oh, it's so good.
And yeah, so I bought this.
You bought that to go with other colors that you already own.
Yes, that I already own.
And so what she was doing was taking the colors she already owns off the shelf because she didn't have them with her, and laying them down and comparing them. Yes.
I already have the Medusa,
from the Lunenburg. Yes,
yeah, from the Lunenburg. So I have some
and
leftovers here.
Storm.
And I have and this pink. I don't know what color that one was called, but and I have the Barnacle white. So I thought surely I can make another Fair Isle hat.
Yes,
out of
or
these
2
colors,
at
or
least.
2. Yeah. So this is glorious, rustic, sticky wool, not scratchy. I mean, it's not buttered kittens, but it's definitely has some texture. So I bought those 4 skeins the first day.
On the first day.
And then I went back and bought more the second day.
Wait, what did you say?
I went
too
back
quiet.
I know. I went back and bought more the second day.
You want to just show it now since we're here?
Sure.
Might as well. It's right there in your bag. Do you want me to hold some of that?
Mary Jane Mucklestone does a lot of
designing for them.
So there were some beautiful vests, some Fair Isle vests there, and I loved wearing my Emsworth vest on Saturday. I was perfectly warm, cool. I loved just the ease of wearing a vest. My arms felt free. I was wearing it over a dress, and I was very comfortable. So I am on a vest kick. So I went back and bought a Maine color, which is this gorgeous dark blue. It's not black. It's definitely dark blue. So I bought this gorgeous dark blue, and I bought this light blue, and this one like that. Yeah, so I had already purchased that one, yeah? Yeah, so I'd already purchased those. But I figured out of all the colors I have, I would be able to make a beautiful vest.
Yeah.
So
you just swatch and see what you like.
Yeah, and this yarn it's pretty affordable. I don't remember exactly. I want to say maybe $14 a skein. It's a 50-gram skein. Yeah, 50 grams and 175 yards. So sport weight. Yeah. Anyway, I just love it. I love her. I love the colors.
What were their names? Wait, did I write it down here? I forgot to write it down.
All my cards here.
Not Lisa. No, that was somebody else.
Jani. Jani. Jani.
I don't remember.
I believe. Anyway, she dyes all the yarn herself, and I was saying one of the colors is significantly different this go round, and she said now that she's dyeing
bigger quantities.
She's mixing the dye for the whole year. So she's able to
So
be
at
a
least
little bit
within
more
a year,
consistent.
the dye lots will be
lots.
more similar.
Right. So anyway, I encourage you, if you want to go check out the colors, they are, and if you love Fair Isle knitting, yes,
Beautiful.
it's a candy store. So, yep. Her name is Jani, Jani, Jani Estelle from Starcroft.
They were so sweet.
Wild
you got a picture
ground
with her
island
as well,
wool,
which I
hand-dyed
probably
yarns and
already
fiber.
inserted. So,
and it's in my doggy rice bag that I copied actually from a viewer. She showed this fabric in our Facebook group.
I think I
for
put
members.
a picture of it in episode 11. Her
Okay,
bag.
and I was like, okay, I need that fabric. And so I ended up finding it in the States here at Walmart, which is like a super store. They kind of carry everything. So anyway, it's pink polka dots on the inside. And
Beautiful.
I love it.
It's so cute.
Yeah. It's extra deep. I made it
I noticed it's bigger.
The pattern
is the bottom bigger as well, or just made it deeper?
The pattern has you cut just a 9-inch wide strip, but this is 12 inches wide.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's deeper. So it fits a whole bunch of yarn. And these are
It's all the Nash
I
Island.
made the bigger ones for our viewers for the prizes.
Now, these are the sheep, Nash Island, by the way. These are the sheep that live on the island that you've spoken about in other episodes.
Yeah.
She loves that.
I do.
So fun. So after that little bit of shopping, we went back to the hill. And one of my favorite moments from the entire weekend happened. You have to talk about it.
So, I mean, we were at that point pretty used to people calling our names. And so I heard someone say, Jonna, and I just want to thank you. And we've been thanked many times, you know, for entertaining people.
Right. Thank you for our podcast. Thank you for all the work we put into it.
Right. And so I thought she was a viewer. And Kim was like,
she said, I want to thank you so much for everything you did for my
salty air tea.
Yes, or maybe she first said pattern, but she definitely then,
And so my brain was like catching up.
And all of a sudden I thought, then she said salty air tea, and then I thought, this is the designer.
Yes.
And then I couldn't remember her name. Samantha Guerin.
Samantha Guerin.
Yes, it was so sweet. And then she went on and on.
I know. And it was just another one of those moments where you don't realize the influence that you have. And so I have to thank all of you for going out and buying her pattern and for knitting salty air tees, of which I saw a beautiful long sleeve salty air tee with mohair. So I thought, oh my goodness, I have to knit a third one. But she was just precious and lovely and beautiful and kind and gracious. And I thought, never did I think in my wildest dreams that I would be able to influence people to buy she's a fairly new young designer, and it was just a really sweet moment.
And that's really one of the things we've wanted to do with this is people have said, well, what if you had a sponsorship, or even filming at Pick Up Every Stitch. One of the sweetest things they said in the beginning was, you can talk about any yarn, not just yarn we sell here, because we didn't want to be
beholden to
to somebody that's sponsoring us, or the only thing now we have an affiliate link for is Knitter's Planner, but that's because I use it, but you don't even use Knitter's Planner, so that's fine.
And one of the things the viewers said was, we're so happy that you don't sell anything, so we aren't,
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want,
we don't even sell these.
If you want our face on that, you can buy them, but you really don't need to. It's just people asked for them. It's just fun. It's funny. I think it's funny. But
don't buy the one with where my hair is green.
we'll talk
about it in a minute.
Big failure. Yeah. But it was so sweet, because when you buy yarn, patterns, things from small businesses, you are supporting families. You're supporting the economy. You're allowing mothers to stay home with their children. You're allowing, farming does not make a lot of money. You're allowing.
And these people work hard.
They work
in all kinds of weather.
Yes, exactly. And so for us to be able to promote, we're not out there seriously, we're not their PR people, but we talk about things we love, and that salty air tea is gorgeous. I'm wondering if I'm going to knit one next summer.
But I do need to talk about that in some future episode, about I realized why my sleeves are pretty short, because I didn't do the last repeat of the lace chart, which is 8 rows, because my armpit, the yoke was as long as I needed it to be, and I didn't want my armpits to be hanging down. So, but what I should have done after I
added those 8 rows,
should have added those 8 rows, or just knit plain stockinette for 8 rows.
But it's so cute.
It is. It's totally fine. But I think it was one of those things that, I woke up in the middle of the night and was like, I know exactly what I did. So, anyway.
And it's funny, when we went to Kevin and Ray's podcast or patio, the audience asked questions. And one of the things, I don't remember who talked about it, but Kevin and Ray are different because when Kevin makes a mistake, he needs to figure out what happened, right? He has this need to try to figure it out. And Ray's just like, and just moves on.
Yeah.
And so in this case...
Well, and I didn't think of it as a mistake. I just was, you
curious
look at other people's projects and their sleeves were much longer. And in some of the bigger sizes, yes, you knit more repeats of the lace chart. So I thought, oh, well, that's why. But then I realized, it's just like anything. If you make a change in one area, it's likely to influence some other area.
Right.
So, which led me to, I just recently finished that I did make a mistake in, and I did go back and fix it. But the Oslo hat that I wanted, we measured my head and determined that I have a smallish head. So I made the junior woman size, but I might have a smallish head around, but it's not necessarily smaller this way. So even if you make something smaller around, you're still going to maybe need the length. So I knit the length it should be, and it's fine. So anyway, just, as I'm not a super experienced knitter, so I'm kind of learning all these things.
Yeah.
But we were sitting at Pick Up Every Stitch for the last day of the Western Connecticut yarn crawl. And Laura, a viewer who comes up from the city, was sitting next to me, and I was knitting on my Sophie scarf. And at one point, there's an I-cord on both sides. I guess I had knitted those 3 stitches instead of slipped them. And so I could see, there was just a tiny little inconsistency. And I was like, looking at it, and I was like, no, I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm just going to leave it. I mean, whatever. And Laura's like, oh yeah, I would totally rip that out. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And I just took the needles out, and I just...
Wow.
Rivet, and got the needles back in, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But that was one of my favorite moments, the Samantha Guerin moment. And it was sweet. Really lovely. And she just said, you definitely made my summer.
And had no idea. I literally had no idea.
Yeah, we talk about something, we have no idea what happens after that. We really don't.
No idea.
So that was really one of my favorite things. One thing I liked, let me just make sure. Yeah, one thing I love doing, I did it both days, but I didn't do it so much at Woolenfold because I wasn't feeling well. But if I saw, obviously people came up to us, but if I saw a sweater that I loved, or I would go up to people.
That was really fun.
Yeah, like this one woman was wearing, I looked it up after the fact. I'm pretty sure it was Marie Wallen's tapestry wrap, maybe from her, what is that club she calls? Her Fair Isle Club or whatever. Maybe number 6. And I didn't even ask the woman's name, but I went up, she was talking to someone else, and I tapped her. I'm so sorry to bother you, but your sweater is, and before I could say that, she was like, oh my goodness, I know who you are. It was really funny. But her tapestry wrap was...
It is fun. It's so fun to see all the gorgeous sweaters and to, make sure that, we love it when someone comes up and compliments our sweaters, so we try to do a lot of that.
Yeah, there were way more than I ever even said, but then there was this, I remember last year we commented on a woman, if you watch, and we never took a picture and we never asked her name, she had this huge circle shawl.
One of those pie shawls.
And we were near... over by the livestock buildings, but in where they have the booths, like in between. So if you watch and you know who we're talking about, then message us because we would love. Send us a picture. That was
one of those huge pie shawls, all lace,
a complete circle.
Yeah,
it was just from like the back of her neck went to the floor. It was so big. It was beautiful.
Really big.
And so I also saw this other woman. I had finished eating lunch. You were still eating. Actually, this was on Sunday. A woman was walking by and I said, oh, I have to go talk to her. So I ran over there and I also stopped her, and she was wearing Maple. I looked that up also after the fact, by Marie Wallen, and it's a cardigan with like, I've seen pictures of all of these.
And she knit it in the yarn.
In the exact colors, of course, unless something was discontinued. But it has striped sleeves and it has a really neat striped ribbing and then these bright beautiful flowers, a cardigan. It was so gorgeous. Her name, I did ask her name, was Ina, I-N-N-A. And on Instagram, she's Ina She Woman. I don't know. But it was just gloriously beautiful, and it makes me want to knit that. Maybe that'll be my next Marie Wallen. It was so beautiful. Yeah, that's fun to go up and... Another funny thing that happened. You know, you have a bag on your shoulder, and Saturday was so crowded. So you're bumping between, and like accidentally bumping, your bag's bumping into people. And many times I would turn around and go, oh no, I'm so sorry I bumped into you. And the people would go, it's okay, it's okay. Oh my goodness, Kim bumped into me. It was funny.
That's right. And then we saw her later again, and she's like, you bumped into me with your bag.
Remember? Yeah, it was really funny. It was just so fun. People are so nice. Yeah. So then we did go back to the hill, and then we saw Jennifer Parasini again. I got a picture with her. She's so sweet. Really, really sweet. And she, when I first saw the Stella sweater at Westport Yarns and wanted to buy the yarn, I had looked her up, and she was on the West Coast, maybe even Portland, Oregon, but I'm not sure because, you know, I'm born in Portland, Oregon. But then shortly thereafter, I was messaging her, and she was moving to Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
So now she lives in Pennsylvania. So I was excited to meet her because if she had been on the West Coast, she wouldn't have probably gone to Rhinebeck. So that was fun.
We did meet people from all over, though. Someone said, oh, I watch you from France.
Yeah.
Yeah, people from the West Coast. Yeah, Florida, Ohio, all over.
Yeah.
Some people flew, some people drove. Some people kind of just turned it into a tour of the Northeast and leaf
A lot of people
keeping
stayed in local accommodations. They were all surprised that we drove back and forth every day.
Yeah.
But
it was fine. I got lots of knitting done in the car while other people drove.
it's time to unwind as well, I think, and sleep in your own bed. And of course, with my husband's health issues, I didn't want to be... He came with me Saturday, but I didn't want to be away. Nights are the hardest, so I didn't want to be away for the nights. So it worked out fine. It was like no traffic. It's an hour and 15 minutes away. With traffic, an hour and a half maybe. So that was fun.
Yeah, so we were talking to Paula from Mayak and Amy, and they said, oh, we want you to meet somebody. We want you to meet somebody. So they know that Kim is a paper and pencil person, and I'm a digital person. So she said, you definitely want to meet Allison and Andrea. Both their last name is Yates?
No, Allison Yates and Andrea
Allison
Cull.
Yates and Andrea Cull of Knitrino. So Knitrino is a new-ish app for knitters. And I was telling them, you know, I tried to use Knit Companion, and I like the idea of Knit Companion, but it just was not very user-friendly for me. And I'm pretty techie, and there were things that I could not figure out. And Knit Companion, to get their more functional version, is a subscription, so you pay every year. So anyway, we ended up meeting them, and they were just so bubbly and so sweet and wearing...
At the end of the day, too. They were really...
They were still going like gangbusters, and I was definitely fading at that point. But they were telling us about their new app and gave us little $5 off discount cards. So it's called Knitrino, and Allison is a physicist, and a neutrino is I'm not even going to say. It's a subatomic particle. And so
she's super smart, basically.
Yeah, super smart. And
so they developed the software themselves.
Yeah, and they took out, you know, they spent their life savings developing this app. And they were like, are you okay if we're the only people who use it? And, you know, she was saying to her sister, and her sister's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. So her sister's a teacher in Oklahoma. Allison lives in Seattle. And they developed this app. And they said that, you know, they knew about how much it cost to develop an app. She's like, oh yeah, it costs like 3 times that.
Yeah,
so,
and it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
So they put their heart and soul and all of their life savings into this app, and it's extremely user friendly. I did download it, and so there are patterns in the app that are available for purchase. So the app itself is free, and it takes the best parts of what you imagine a knitting app to be, like chart reading and markup,
personalizing every pattern, really.
Right. So I use GoodNotes. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, which is not a knitting app. It's just a PDF markup app. So this is specifically made for knitters.
Can you put outside patterns in it as well?
I'm not sure, but I think that you can suggest, hey, I want to knit this pattern. And it's cool because once you're done with the yoke, it tells you, oh, okay, you're done with the yoke. Now you're going to
right, you know how your pattern is divided into sections.
Right.
You get like a little check.
Right.
Yeah, I finished that section.
Right. So it's really, I can really see it being helpful for a new knitter also. And every time you close it and you open it up, everything is exactly where you left it. And that's one of the things I love about using GoodNotes is if I highlight a row of a chart, it stays there until I open the app the next time. And all my hash marks stay, and I can't lose it because I'm not going to lose my iPad. So
we haven't really used Knitrino, but definitely check it out if it's something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And they were so lovely. It was really funny to talk to them. We took a picture of them. They asked us with or without the unicorn. They had a little unicorn with them, so we said with. Unicorn. So maybe I'll insert the picture of us with them. But they're
really sweet
people. And it turns out for some reason they mentioned Sydney of Squidney Knits.
Because Allison likes to knit vintage knits. And so she was wearing one of the Knitrino sweaters.
And she knitted an entire skirt.
She knit her skirt, which was gorgeous.
In like 2 weeks or something.
And her hair was in one of those very ornate
vintage.
kind of 1920s styles.
And it turns out she knows Sydney of Squidney Knits. And I said, oh, I've always wanted to meet her. I saw her.
We met her.
We did the next day. Yeah, that was so fun. But that was basically the end of our... And then we met Amy and Paula of Mayak on the Hill. And then we...
got yarn.
Walked to... And they parked in the front lot and we parked in the back. So we decided to meet somewhere else to transfer the bags. But anyway, it's too boring. You don't want to hear about that. We're already making a long mini-sode. But that was the end of our Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving on to Sunday.
All right.
What did you wear? Oh, you already
said. I wore my Lunenburg.
With a which was cute little what would you call that kind of shirt?
Oh, a chambray shirt.
Underneath. Looked really cash.
Thank you.
Really
and
cute.
Jeans, kind of cropped jeans, and my Birkenstocks with my homemade full socks, and I was so comfortable. And my back was a little sore after the first couple days.
Really?
I think just maybe the stress of standing upright and trying not to slouch and carrying bags.
The first 2 days I carried all this stuff in my bag that I really didn't need and never used, so I ended up the next day just
bottles
basically
of water and
taking an empty bag.
Yeah.
Basically. I wore my Sabella. I couldn't decide if I wanted to wear my PSSO or my Sabella.
It was a little chillier.
It was chilly again, and it looked like it was going to stay chilly enough to wear my Sabella, and I love my Sabella, so that's what I wore. I was really comfy and cozy all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was just Sunday was casual day.
Yeah.
And shopping day.
And so we that day you've already mentioned your husband and
my dad came. So my dad he's 89. He has a scooter, several scooters.
He's so cute.
Mobility scooters. And I knew that my husband's like, is it going to be muddy and gravelly? And I said, no, it's all paved. So it was funny. And I said, oh, you mean like a Renaissance fair? He's like, yeah. And I said, well, there might even be, we won't be eating turkey legs. But it was funny. My brother went to a Renaissance fair the same day. There's a picture of him eating a big turkey leg and walking around at the Renaissance fair. So anyway, my dad came. We were able to park in the handicap parking and got his mobility scooter all set up. And he just had a great time. He just... zipped around.
We didn't see him basically all day. He just...
No.
He loved just looking at everything.
Yeah, it was fantastic weather, and he was able to, see what he wanted to see.
And there's that entire, you mentioned it quickly, there's an entire, permanent building with food vendors, and those vendors do not change with all the different events.
Right. So every event, they're the same.
Right, they're Hudson Valley food vendors. And talk about it in a minute, I bought some stuff there at the end of Sunday.
I remember it. I should have you take a picture of it.
Yeah, I will. But basically, that was our shopping day. It was, I would say, if there were 30,000 people there on Saturday, there was a fifth of that on Sunday. Sunday was, and this is what the Knitting Posse told us, Kim, Laura, and Kate, you're not going to get any shopping done on Saturday.
Right.
Just know that and just shop on Sunday. Even if you weren't somewhat of a minor celebrity, the booths are so crowded, the lines are so long. I think it would be nice no matter what to browse on Saturday.
Right.
Unless it is something that's going to sell out, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, so first thing we did, I was heading straight for the Long Island Farms booth.
Oh, you're welcome.
But the day before, I had seen a few people wearing, I kept thinking it was the sea glass sweater, but it wasn't. It was the
Shift.
Shifty
by Andrea Mowry.
and it's so beautiful. And I saw one woman, I asked her to message me and she hasn't so far, but that's fine. But hers was, I said, how many yarns did you use? And she said, I only used 2 yarns, a main color and the color changing yarn. And it was rich reds and it was so gorgeous. And I just knew, because I had seen Feederbrook farms and then there was another farm that had that kind of yarn. And I knew that I wanted to buy. I printed the pattern Saturday night, brought it with me, and that's,
and the pattern calls for like 6 different colors of spin cycle, and I don't know how much of those 6 skeins you actually use in the kind of a fade. So the kits for that sweater are very expensive.
Because you don't need the entire...
No, you don't need the whole skein.
I mean, it's beautiful, too.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
But I haven't bought one of the kits.
Yeah, I have the pattern right here. I mean, you can't see it. Maybe I'll insert a picture. So anyway, I knew I wanted to make a shifty. And as soon as we walked into that first building, I stopped at... I was heading straight for the Long Island yarns. And... I knew I wanted to make, with a Feederbrook farm, that's what you made your Koivua with. Or there was another, what was it originally with? Spin Cycle?
And there was no Spin Cycle booth, but it was in several different other booths, but it would have been tricky to
find it. And we already knew that Feederbrook was there. So I stopped there, and again, I've mentioned this many times, I just walk in and I talk to Karen and Felicia or whoever owns the store and I say, help. So I said, I want to make this pattern. I'm just going to use, instead of all the 6 colors that it calls for, I just wanted to use a main color and the changing, the changing yarn.
Because it's mosaic knitting.
Yes. So she said, oh, we're running low. So I said, well, I'm thinking of like a cranberry, and they didn't have any plain cranberry except she said, there's this one with this little sparkle. And I was like,
yes, please.
Sparkle. Okay. I mean, it's not like glitter. It just has...
no, it's pretty subtle.
It has... Oh, it's down here. It just has some kind of nylon in it. It kind of has like an opalescent shimmer to it. And otherwise, it's merino wool. So I got that. And then she said for the color changing, we also don't have a lot of selection. And I said, well, again, I'm not that picky, but I saw this by the front.
Yeah.
And they had enough.
It's perfect.
So we just calculated up, instead of 5 different colors like a fade, we just, calculated how much I would need, and they had enough.
I hope you can make this before. I know you're going to knit your sweaters in order, but this would make a great Christmas sweater. So
I think you said that.
Maybe 2023.
Yeah. So this is 100% blue-faced Leicester, this one. So I bought that, and then as we were checking out, I guess I mentioned that we have a YouTube channel, and so the person who helped me and the person who checked me out was the owner, Lisa. She's the owner spinner, and Scott, the dyer, was right next to her. So that was so fun meeting them, and I took a picture with Lisa, and I really can't wait. Yeah. To knit that. Oh my goodness. I really can't wait.
And then I'm going to want one. I've had that. I think that may have been the first sweater pattern I ever purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never. I've wanted to since I've seen it. The shifty shawl or the shifty cowl or the shifty.
And I think the shifty pattern has been updated for a better fit in the yoke. I think I saw that on one of Andrea Mowry's podcasts, which are called I'll Knit If I Want To. And they're every Friday morning.
And she also, I read the notes to the pattern, and she says it really does look best. Her test knitters say it looks best with really very little...
Right, zero ease.
Zero ease, a little bit of negative ease, or just a little positive ease. So so that'll be a challenge for me, because I'm always worried it's going to be too small, but we'll see. So then, of course, we headed straight for the Long Island yarns, and just the display, which we already talked about, is just heavenly. And so I bought the yarn that I had been thinking about all night long, and I think they saw us come back. I think they remembered us from the previous day. Not that they knew who we were or anything, but I think my hair, and I was definitely milling about for a while the day before. So I bought the American Life Farm to Yarn collection in the color Skye King, and so excited about that. And then we were talking to her, and the owner is Tabitha, and she calls herself the founder, farmer, and shearer, and I love that.
She does it all.
Yes, she does it all. And they have a holiday farm open house coming up in November. And my husband and I were thinking of going away Thanksgiving weekend, like cooking for everyone on Thursday, and then leaving Friday morning. He already requested the day off. And we were maybe going to go upstate New York, but we always go there. So now that I heard about this, I think we might try to find a bed and breakfast on Long Island. So if you know of one near Yaphank, New York, but they're having their 11th annual holiday farm open house, November 27th from 10 to 3.
Cool.
And it's free admission. And you said you've been there before, right?
I have.
To the farm.
Yeah, it was during an ice storm, so we didn't get to pet any alpaca, but they had a beautiful farm store. And, you know, going to the beach in the winter is fun.
George and I have done that.
Yeah.
He's from Long Island, so we've gone to Long Beach a few times.
Yeah, you can stay in Montauk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chilly, but, you know, you bundle up, and if it's a sunny day, it can be really fun. So that'll be a great trip.
Yeah, that'll
Did
be fun.
I talk about what I bought there?
I don't remember, but if you're going to be in the area, go that weekend. It's out on Long Island in New York, November 27th from 10 to 3. Maybe I'll be there. So then at that point, we actually, I think, before we went, because we had already been in all those buildings, I don't think we went through them all again with your husband, did we? Oh, no, we hadn't been in them. That's when we walked through all those buildings.
Probably because we couldn't get in on Saturday.
Right, we couldn't get in on Saturday. Did we buy anything else in A, B, or C? I don't think so. But then we went over to the Hill, and we met Sydney of Squidney Knits, because we saw the Knitrino girls again. And that was fun. So we actually got to meet her. Did we take a picture with her? I think we did. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, she is. And she always makes her whole entire outfit. So she made a skirt and a top. And the first time I saw her, her sleeve, I think she had a whole sleeve missing. This time she just had like maybe a
That was a couple of years ago, right?
Cuff. Yeah, a sleeve cuff missing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she had it on, you know, waist yarn.
Yeah.
But she's very...
Oh, and the reason we went there was because Emily, who I had met at Woolen Folk, was going to be wearing her Here Comes the Sun. And on her Instagram, maybe during lunch, I had noticed that she was going to be on the Hill at 1 wearing her Here Comes the Sun. And of course, I had to see it. So we went over there. And when we got there, I couldn't find her. We met Sydney. That was great. But I couldn't find Emily. So I messaged her on Instagram, I can't find you. In the meantime, we see Kevin and Ray again, and Andrea Mowry.
Yeah, and I was too shy to go up and say hello, and
I was too shy.
Or like, well, do you know her? Like thinking that they know her, and they're like, no, we don't know her. We've never met her. So
and they were cute too. They were like, but we're too shy to go say hi too.
And he was like, let's just go say hi. So we did, and
Yeah.
she was very sweet.
Yes.
And her husband took a picture of us, and we took a picture, and yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And then, in the meantime, I guess Emily checked her messages, and she ran over in her Here Comes the Sun sweater. So I got a picture of Emily in her sweater, and it's
up close.
Up close, I got to touch it and
some of the details.
Ask her some questions.
She made hers in a beautiful green. Very pretty.
She gave me a little tips and pointers about knitting it, so that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do that. So that was really fun to meet Emily. Hi, Emily. And she's the botanical knitter, by the way, on Instagram. And then we did those last buildings. We went up. We started with the top floor of the 2-story building. And I remember that's the floor where if you're wearing something warm, that is the warmest place. If you're
cold, go there.
Go to the top floor of the 2-story building.
Right. It's kind of opposite the cider donuts, which the line for that was just ridiculous.
And at the far end, or the food end of all the livestock buildings. And so we went through there, and at the far end, this top caught our eye.
Yes. It looked like lingerie. It was a camisole. I mean, it could definitely be lingerie if you made a pair of little, like, ruffle shorts or tap pants. And it was
you could wear it as a top in the summer, and it's you could even wear it at an event. It's just really delicate and lacy and beautiful.
And I like samples, but, I mean, this one really caught my eye. So we had to check it out.
I do have a picture of the sample.
Okay.
It's not a great picture of the sample.
The picture on the pattern isn't great. But I think that this is the actual one that you took a picture of. But anyway, the picture isn't great. And it's one of those sweater recipes. So, you know.
Basic instructions.
Basic instructions. So we'll see. Yeah. So this came with the yarn purchase, and we bought.
Well, she wouldn't have splurged. Let me just say, she wouldn't have splurged on this because, first of all, it's cashmere, and
like it's definitely
it's not an everyday sweater.
Need. This is not a need.
Right. It's a very special garment, and all of a sudden, I said, you know what? Let's have the channel buy it for you, because I thought the viewer, you guys, would love to see her knit in this yarn and wear it. It's really stunning. And
I bought a pair of black pants at Zara. It'll be perfect for this.
Oh my goodness.
High-waisted black pants.
Valentine's Day, you can wear it.
Yeah.
It's kind of coral, kind of pink, kind of red.
The colorway is called Watermelon. And it's really, you can't really tell whether it's red or pink. But it's 1 ounce, it's 200 yards, so it's lace weight. 100% cashmere, and it was $45, but I only needed, 3 skeins.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you were tempted to buy a more neutral color.
I was. The sample was in this beautiful, creamy, ivory, champagne. But they were out of that color. And that way it would have clashed with my hair anyway. So I didn't know what color to get. And Kim's like, get the red.
I mean, it'll just look beautiful on your... It's actually almost... Well, it's a lighter version of your glasses. It'll look really...
And I think that was maybe my husband's first time seeing a sample where he thought, oh, wow, that is really beautiful. You know, and oh, you can make that. Yeah, so that was fun.
It'll be a challenge, though. It's knit in pieces.
It will be.
You first knit the band across the bottom.
Then you pick up stitches for the front and the back.
This way.
And then you seam them together.
Wow.
But the directions are, you know, bind off or decrease by 6 over the next like X number of rows, and you know, doesn't tell you how to bind, you know, how to decrease
in a lace pattern.
But I think that I have done enough knitting. I'll be able to
absolutely
get through it.
You'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun purchase.
Yeah, it was.
I was so happy you made it. I can't wait for you to cast that one on. Yeah. Definitely beautiful.
I think that is the first project or the only project the channel has ever purchased. So.
Yeah. So then we went through the other, and the rest of the buildings are basically livestock buildings most of the time, but some of them they put like carpets down over the what's the sawdust? The sawdust, and then they make some of the buildings then are vendor buildings, and some are still animal buildings. But we got to almost the end, and we almost didn't want to keep going. We were actually, when you bought that, yes. That was one of the last purchases, and we almost left after that. Tell us about this. This was amazing.
So we were walking by this booth, and it's not a booth that I've seen it before, but never been in.
And this is one of the outside booths that's between the buildings. And they put booths everywhere.
The sun was shining on their beautiful yarn, and I think they had just literally unboxed this yarn and gotten it back from the dyer or something. And it has this beautiful sheen to it. It was spilling out over the baskets, and I just thought, oh my goodness. And, you know, it's a cute little farm stand and 2 women, you know, running the stand. And so I bought a sweater's quantity of this Leicester Longwool. So this wool, it's funny, you'd think it was alpaca, the drape, but it's just got a really long staple. So it's very
And they had
drapey.
baskets full of some of the curls from...
I forget what that's called.
You know, they had the name of it. But some of the what is it called?
I don't know.
Yeah, they were like ringlets. They almost look like banana locks. That's what it's called.
They were locks.
Baskets full of different colored locks from this wool, and it is just beautiful. Yeah, like banana curls, like ringlets. It's so wonderful.
So this is from Maple Frost Farm.
I love it.
Owned by Kim and Jack Mastriani, and it's in Langdon, New Hampshire. And I bought a sweater's quantity of yarn.
And John was so cute, your husband. He's like, I think you need something in pink.
I know.
That was so sweet.
And so I went to go use my credit card, and my credit card was declined. I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't think that can happen. But she said, oh, it's probably because like our card says our card reader says we're in New Hampshire. So-and-so's card reader says they're in Maine. So-and-so's, you know, they're like, well, you can't be in all these places at once. So my card was declined twice. So I thought, oh, well, you know, maybe I
do have money.
I just won't buy it. And my husband's like, oh, no, that's okay. I'll buy it. And I was like, really? You know, are you sure? So it was nice to kind of have his, you know, his support. So not that he's very supportive, but, you know, for him to say, oh, no, I'll buy it. You pay me back later. I was like, oh, okay.
Do you know what you're going to knit yet?
I don't. So I did email them this morning, though, to see if they had any pattern suggestions, but they did say do something textured.
And
so
drapey.
Cables. So that's why I'm thinking a cardigan. I'm thinking a pullover. You know, what if it stretches out?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'll have to do some more research. So I did Google Leicester Longwool this morning and read a little bit about it and ask for pattern suggestions. And also, I did think about something cabled or bobbly.
Because she said it looks good with cables, right?
Mm-hmm. And she said this yarn will last a lifetime. And it doesn't pill.
It doesn't pill. She said that.
Mm-hmm. It'll last a lifetime.
She had a sweater there that was, what did she say, how many years old?
I don't know.
And it hadn't
10
pilled.
years old.
Yeah,
or,
10, 12 years.
Something.
Yeah.
So it just had this really interesting texture.
It does.
I mean, it's definitely
it's sticky.
yarn.
It's not like
sticky.
alpaca, but it drapes like alpaca.
Right.
That's what's so unusual
That's what I was
about
like,
it.
oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went for the pink.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
So I have a pink cardigan, the cardigan number 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's a darker pink, and I wear it all the time. Like, it's a neutral. So, yeah.
Love it.
There you go.
So right about then, though, we were like, do we really want to go through the rest of these buildings? But we did, and we were so happy we did.
Yeah.
There's one booth I wanted to look for, and it was Bundaflicka. I think that's how you say it, Bundaflicka. And it's where I bought a bag last year. And I loved the bag. Maggie makes the bags. And so I went in there specifically looking for her, and I saw the booth, and she wasn't in the booth. They said, oh, but she's right down there spinning. So I went to this like empty space, and there she was. And as soon as I walked up with the bag, I think I had purple hair last year too. So she just was so sweet, right?
She was so excited.
So excited that I came back to say hi. I didn't buy anything this time, but I told her how much I love, love, love my bag. And she actually said it's a one of a kind.
Yeah.
Because she made one for the show last year and then kind of misplaced the rest of the bolt of fabric, and wanted to make another one for this year, but couldn't find the fabric.
So you have the only one.
I have the only one. So I took a picture with Maggie. She was very sweet.
Which is really cool because it has this like names of cities from all over the world, and most of them you've been to.
Yes. And then, so amazing, next to her was a young man spinning. And she introduced us to him. His name's Kai, and he was the first of a few children that we met in the last hour of being there that were so inspiring.
I couldn't believe it. And he said his father built his spinning wheel, and he has a YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yep, it's called, his YouTube channel and his Instagram are both called Fiber by Nature. And the tagline on it, I said, do you have a business card? Because we knew this year we will not remember anybody's names. So we either wrote them down. So I asked for his business card. He pulls out his wallet, pulls out his business card, and his tagline is spinning, weaving, and fiber shenanigans. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. He was great.
Yeah, he was really
really inspiring.
Well-spoken, talented, motivated. It was really sweet to meet him. So hi, Kai. We already follow him, by the way, now.
Speaking of cards, on the second day, I remembered to bring a bunch of little stickers. Do I have one?
I don't. I have
these little round circle stickers that say Knit Together with Kim and Jonna have our logo on them, and I handed out. I just grabbed a few. I grabbed like 30, I guess. I thought, oh, that's plenty. Well, I ran out of stickers, so I apologize.
Well, we realized that a lot of people do bring little things.
How fun is that?
Needles at the Ready had
next
little
year
buttons.
We'll be more prepared.
Yes. Yes. So next year we'll have more stickers. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So then we really were
the very last building.
building.
Yeah.
We went in. We saw this. First, we saw this girl. That's really why we stopped.
Yeah.
Right?
She had this bag over her left arm, and she was just knitting on a hat. Standing by this rounder of other little bags like this, and some larger. And she was just knitting away on a hat and talking and not even looking at her knitting. And then I just realized that her whole outfit was knitted. She was wearing like combat boots and knitted leg warmers with a ruffle.
We'll insert a picture. We took pictures.
And a skirt and a sweater
and a hat, all matching.
And she said, oh yeah, I made my whole outfit. And not only did she make it, she designed it.
Yes.
So she actually has a hat pattern out. I don't know if it's on Ravelry, but
I think
we'll check.
it is.
Okay. And she was, how old did she, 12? Did she say she was 12?
Yes, and her brother's 14.
And her brother's 14. They're originally from New Zealand. But have recently moved to the States with their parents. And the young man, her brother, he said, I said, well, so what role do you play? He goes, well, I don't cut because we don't want to cut ourselves. So my mom does the cutting and he does the pinning. And I think Talia does the sewing.
And she makes these beautiful little bags. And I think she donates. I said, you know, do the proceeds go to you? She said she donates them. I think that's what she said. But their company is called Wild Fawn Knits. And it's Talia and Rory. Mm-hmm. And they were at the booth, the Dancing Leaf Farm and Dye Works. And that booth had cute things.
Yeah, which is such a fun.
What
they
was
have
that?
This fiber, these paintings done with fiber.
What did they call them? Landscapes.
Landscapes. They were just
it's really
stunning. I would have bought one, but I couldn't decide because they were all so beautiful. But these are called On the Go Bag.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, for those
hang it on your arm
walk and knit.
Like, yeah.
A lined linen cotton canvas bag, perfect for knitting a project wherever you go.
But these children were so well spoken, so mature, so talented. And just
so excited.
So excited
about fiber, about knitting, about creating. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was really, really fun. And their mom just happened to not be in the booth.
Right.
This other woman, Jen and Sarah, she's also a designer. She kept looking around for their mom. I wish their mom was here because she knew us, actually. Jen knew us. She was a fan. Yeah. She came up later. She's like, I'm your fan. She was kind of
so we took a picture with
working
her.
At the booth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it was really fun. That was one of our last stops, and it really was. I'm so glad we went into that last building. Mm-hmm. Really, really fun. And then when did we go to Tidal Yarns?
It's in one of those buildings, so at some point.
I
bought yarn there last year and haven't made the sweater. I did show it in our last year's Rhinebeck haul video.
Right, because we skipped over that. Mm-hmm. We did, because we met Talia and Rory at the very end. Mm-hmm. But in between, in some of those buildings, we went to Tidal Yarns, because we also love how they display.
One of our favorite booths. Mm-hmm. Beautiful colors, gorgeous yarn.
I took pictures again.
Arranged on the long, with long hanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the owner of Tidal Yarns, is that Patricia?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so she was happy to see us again. Mm-hmm. She remembered us. Because last year, Jonna, we saw this cute sample, and it was just a simple boxy pullover with one pocket. And the pocket liner was a contrasting color.
Right, and she was out of that color. So Kim emailed her and got me.
And she sent us
the contrasting color.
You got a different contrasting
kind of a coral color.
Yeah.
It's, is this it? I think this is...
The Tidal Yarns from last year.
This is the Tidal Yarns from...
Oops.
This always happens. This is the Tidal Yarns from last year.
Yeah.
And so she got me a little bit of coral to do the pocket liner.
You had bought ivory because they didn't have the coral.
Right.
And so this year, though, to motivate her to actually knit it, I had her try on the sample.
Right, which I didn't do last year, did I?
No. Yeah. So I can insert a picture here of her, if you want, trying on the sample. It's a really cute sweater. And now I want to knit one. But again, I have too many sweaters to knit. And I did want to buy something from them. So I actually bought yarn to make... they had a sample of a Tidal Stripes slouch by Kate Solomon. And so I bought this little kit. And actually there was a different color in the kit. And it was like a pinky or mauve color. And then I said, I love that, except for I wish... and you said this color. And so I brought it up and I said, well, I'll get this kit and this blue. And they said, we can just switch it out.
That's good.
That was so nice.
And this hat, it's just basically... I don't know how it's knit from the bottom up. And it's just basically a round, and you connect the two corners, and it makes like this pleated
inside top.
Yeah, inside.
Yeah, so this is the pattern.
Oh, okay.
It almost looks like what shape is that?
I don't know.
Maybe a trapezoid
with
a
little top
bottom. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm going to make that for my husband eventually. Yeah. But that was fun.
Kate Solomon designs a lot for Green Mountain Spinnery.
Yeah.
The only person who we didn't see, who I wished we had seen, was Amy Christophers, who designed my Lunenburg.
And we heard she was there.
And we heard she was there wearing her pressed flowers cardigan, which is a very, very popular pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of pressed flowers.
Shawls.
Yeah, shawl. And I saw a cardigan. Maybe I saw her. I don't know. But I didn't know who she was.
So I didn't see her, and she was with Theo Coleman.
I heard she was there too.
Yeah.
We heard that at the very end when we were just about to leave.
Yeah.
And I did buy a couple more things in the food. Did you buy anything in the food building?
I did.
You want to talk about it really fast?
Sure. So we just, went up and down every aisle, and I don't know, why did I stop at the oil and vinegar place?
Because it looked amazing.
I guess. And he was handing out samples, and
your husband was there. He might have wanted to stop.
And so I usually make salad dressing, with honey and garlic and mustard. And I think we both kind of stumbled on the same recipe. And we're like, oh yeah, I make that dressing.
What is it?
It's actually
raw apple cider vinegar dressing by Detoxinista.
By Detoxinista.
Make it Detoxinista.
Raw
apple cider vinegar dressing.
Vinaigrette.
You literally vinaigrette. You put everything in like a mason jar. Screw on the top
and
shake it. Done.
And it's our favorite salad dressing.
You will never buy jar dressing again.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to make salad dressing. And I thought, oh, well, this is a great solution to that because I'll just buy the oil. They had like a Meyer, I think that's what caught my eye, the Meyer lemon olive oil. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So he mixed Meyer lemon olive oil with this white balsamic vinegar, and it was delicious. And I thought, well, this is something I will use because if I don't feel like making salad dressing, we can have this. And so then we ended up buying a 4-pack. I think we bought fig balsamic and a basil olive oil that tasted great together. So we bought that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And that's all you bought?
Because we had the glog from last year. So
while they were doing that, I didn't taste that. But across the way, the day before, my husband had been with me, and he usually is a foodie. He loves. He'll taste. I mean, it's embarrassing almost. He'll taste everything. He'll take forever. But he just wasn't into it the day before. So since they wanted to go through the food area anyway, across from this olive oil thing was Sal's. Brooklyn, what was it called? I'm sorry, let me get all my stuff here. Sal's Brooklyn Italian Specialties, and Sal was there, and I have a picture of Sal in his booth, and there was too much to choose from. A bunch of cheeses, a bunch of different salamis, gorgeous bread, and so I just said, you know what, Sal? Just you choose 3 cheeses, 1 salami, and I want that bread, and just put it together. And so he did.
Oh, good.
And then he actually said, how about a fresh mozzarella? So I got 4 cheeses.
Did you try it?
I didn't try any of it. It wasn't for tasting. I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean, when you brought it home, have you tried it since then?
No, my husband has, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
And what the funny thing was, though, that then I was walking, and I was waiting for them then, because you were buying yours, and then the guy next to me who had walked up while I was ordering, he came over to me and he said, just so you know, I bought the same thing you did. I basically said, I'll have what she had.
Oh, nice.
He thought it was funny that I just had Sal choose for me. But and again, if you're at any event at Dutchess County Fairgrounds, all these food vendors basically in that building stay the same. They're all Hudson Valley. Then I was walking by this little booth, and this woman holds out a pretzel
with the salted caramel on it.
And normally I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I always say no. And I just said, yes. And so I took a bite, and you couldn't have any because you're gluten-free.
Right.
On the pretzel, But this salted caramel sauce was to die for. It's Carasel, Cara-SEL, salted caramel sauce by Kristen. And she's also known as the Ardent Homesteader. She's actually a homesteader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So cool.
And it's very drizzly. It's, it's not like a hard salted caramel candy.
It's so
gooey.
Good. You have to look her up.
Yeah.
I have her whole brochure here. But yeah, she's amazing.
I've made salted caramels. It's the Ina Garden recipe. Salted caramels, they're delicious. Good. You should definitely try that out. Yeah, if you like making candy for Christmas.
And then I was heading for the Hedda glog. I'll tell you about that in a second. Jonna can tell you. But I knew last year I got my husband chocolates from Dean's Sweets. So I wouldn't let him eat them because I haven't shown. Oh, I have the salted caramel here.
Oh.
This is the jar.
Oh, nice.
Of the Carousel salted caramel. But these is a little, it's the, what do they call it? The top sellers box of Dean Sweets chocolates. And I took a picture as well at home, so I'll insert the picture.
I'm hungry.
I know. I want to eat it all now.
And this is just sugar, cream, butter, sea salt, and vanilla.
Yeah, I think something, she says 5 ingredients. Like, that's all. And delicious.
And she had gluten-free pretzels, but she was dipping them all in the same caramel, which I can't eat.
She can't have,
yeah.
So I did take pictures of all these things. Hopefully I inserted them. And then the last thing, you have to tell everybody, and then we promise we're finished. Almost.
Well, I guess my first Rhinebeck I tasted this Hetta. I call it glog. Is that what they call it?
Glogg.
Oh, okay. And it's this red wine infused with fruits and spices. And they heat it up, and it is like Christmas in a cup. It is delicious. And it's shelf stable, so we have a bottle from downstairs that's downstairs that's already opened. And, yeah, lasts forever. And it is so, what's that word? Hygge? It's very hygge. Hygge.
What is that? I've never heard of it.
It's a Danish word for comfort. It's a Danish word that means all things cozy.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. Yeah. The first time I walked by, you weren't with me, and I said no to tasting it, even though you had already told me about it.
Oh, okay.
And then
did you taste it?
Yes.
Yes.
And I can imagine after we go cut down our Christmas tree and come home, and we're all a little cold, and we start setting it up to warm up some of this on the stove. And
yeah, and you just drink a little bit of it. It's not very sweet, and it is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go get some Hetta glog. And I actually had a card here. The owners are Kate and Darren. And yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says the glog begins with a custom blended port made from grapes in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York and brandy from a Napa Valley distillery. They infuse it with cinnamon, raisins, cardamom, and orange peels.
I think we're going to have some tonight. It's supposed to be...
It's vegan and gluten-free.
Oh, good.
Well, there you go.
It's supposed to be down to freezing tonight. So I need to cover my veggies with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we finally got through everything. I don't know. This is maybe going to be another 3-hour episode, but
sorry about that.
No, it's been a relief because we always apologize, and then
I'm not apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to her because it takes a long time to.
No. It's fine.
To edit.
It's fine. I think I mentioned. I don't even know if I mentioned it in the video. The first months, it was definitely a chore to edit, but the last 3 videos. And they were all very different videos. I find myself smiling as I'm editing because it's so fun to relive the moments we talk about. And it's so fun to just, when I'm not with you, I can still be with you. And I love the stuff we talk about. So I find myself smiling, and it doesn't feel like a chore anymore because I now I know some shortcuts, which definitely helps. So even captions. I now know that I can highlight a caption and copy it and then just insert that caption somewhere else and only change the word, so I don't have to relook for the font and it's a silly thing, but it makes life easier. So the last thing I wanted to talk about though was our merch. Okay. Because we finally have some here.
And we're wearing t-shirts.
We're wearing our t-shirts. Yep. I'm wearing the V-neck, which I'm assuming is a men's t-shirt, and when I got it, it was really long, so Jonna hemmed it for me to make it a little shorter. You're wearing the women's shirt.
And small, and the shoulders are a little, I think it's a little small on the shoulders, but the rest of it fits perfectly. Yeah.
And then we do also have a men's shirt available, just a regular men's t-shirt, and we do have a sample of that somewhere. And then we have mugs, which we love, and we love that the logo's on the front. We have 2 styles of water bottles, but please never buy this one.
Because my hair looks like I've been doing too much swimming. It's literally green. So the gray paint or dye or whatever they use over the stainless steel turned my hair green.
Turned green. So I need to take it off of the shop. I mean, you can buy it if you want Jonna with green hair. It's fine.
Oh, and green yarn.
And green yarn. But when you create the items, they look perfect. And that looked perfect. But that's why we bought a sample of everything. And Jonna was like, you bought all those samples. But I wanted to see and touch everything. And I'm glad I did because this one looks perfect. And this one, and by the way, I didn't notice until I saw this, that in our logo, because our logo is usually so small, that my glasses are tortoiseshell.
Yeah. They're really good quality. I am pleasantly surprised with
and I use this at Rhinebeck. We should buy you one so you can have one. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't buy this. I will take it off. I just have to figure out, again, the site is not that user-friendly, honestly. Oh, actually, speaking of the site, if you click from any of the links, I think, and you click on the site, it shows up and you see our shop. There's 10 items. There will be 9 because we're taking the silver water bottle off. And it's fine. If you click on an object...
It says page not found, error 404 or something.
Right.
But then it'll say return to homepage or something like that. If you click the return to homepage, it does take you to the store and you can
then you can order things.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going on.
She's been on... Tech support
twice.
Of course, it's like Facebook where there's no phone number. You can't actually call. It's all this live chat. So we're trying to figure it out. We're sorry about that. It's a very popular YouTuber shop. And we just apologize. So just be a little more persistent if you want. You don't have to buy this stuff, but if you want it.
We profit very little from it, so don't do it as a favor to us.
Yeah, and it's not
something
cheap.
You want. Yeah,
and the shipping isn't cheap. I mean, shipping anywhere these days is not cheap.
Right.
So only if you like really want something.
And the different items come from different vendors and printed in different places, so that you might pay shipping twice, or more shipping just because it's coming from two different places.
You'll get multiple.
Right.
It's one shipping price. You won't get pay. You won't pay more later, but. But they come from different places, so you'll get shipments at different times. So we also have a bigger sticker if you want that. You don't have to buy any of this. No. We have a little notebook.
I did use my notebook though.
Yeah, so we have it does have lines in it. Yeah. Somebody asked and I hadn't opened mine yet. So a little notebook. And
I am using my Notions pouch.
We were also disappointed with this.
Yeah.
And we already noticed it when people had posted that they received theirs. They got theirs before we got ours. On the page when I created it, with Kim and Jonna, looked like it was in the print area, and it's not. It's in the seam. I mean, big deal. But I am going to go on when I have time after I edit this video and try to use the logo either without the words at all, which should be fine, or with Kim and Jonna. So we have the samples now, and if you want to order them, great. If you don't, no big deal. We might actually now. After I edit this video, then we're going to film episode 12 after we edit that video. And we're going to film a hat video. We have a lot of editing coming up, so I don't know when I'll get to this. But I'm going to remove this bottle, fix this accessories bag, and we want to add black t-shirts with just white outlines. So if you're interested in objects with just black with white outline of our logo.
The only thing we really do sell are channel memberships. That's kind of the only thing that we do sell.
Yes.
So we do have different membership levels, and you can click on the join button, and then you'll watch a little video about what it means to be a member of the channel.
And it also lists the different levels. Yeah. And one perk, I think I did add it to the list, is we have a member Facebook group. So that's right from the lowest level on, or not lowest level, but the first level on. We have a private Facebook group if you're on Facebook, and that's fun because then we chat with everybody. We post. Everybody can post pictures. Everybody can chat. That's really fun.
Just more user-friendly than Ravelry threads. So it was so funny. She was trying to figure out how to get to the Knitter's Planner, like the back end page. And so I gave you the link, and I had been shopping. So I put this in my shopping cart.
I noticed that there was a Knitter's Planner in the shopping cart with a blue cover. And I think I've said that there's, choices, like what kind of page, what day of the week you wanted to start on. Right. And I realized and you had mentioned that you might be interested in having it as a journal. Right. So I thought, and I didn't know what I wanted to get you for your birthday yet. So I saw it in there and I was like, she obviously didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's in the shopping cart.
Still in the shopping cart. So I just loved the cover. And I like my weeks to start on Sunday. And I wanted my weeks to be horizontal and not vertical. And you just have blank pages?
I just
graph paper.
Blank graph paper. And so it says the week, like it'll say the 8th through the 15th. But there's no other lines.
Okay. And the way I'm going to use this is, I started the Oslo hat and met Kim for coffee or something like that. And just more of a journal rather than pattern specifics. So,
and I got you these 2 extra little, which I've never purchased.
Yeah, inserts. One's a things to do, habit tracker. I go to the gym, which I haven't done. Personal to-do list, knitting to-do list,
and it's like a dry erase thing,
right? So you can reuse them. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, and there was also something else paper clipped in there.
Yes, some spending money for Rhinebeck. Which she shouldn't have, but she forced me to take it and buy stuff with it.
Did you spend it?
I did. I spent that and more.
Yay.
So
I'm glad.
Every time my husband asked me, I was like, no, this is my birthday money from Kim.
Yeah, because I could have bought you a gift certificate from Pick Up Every Stitch or something, but I just thought, how fun. Your birthday is right before Rhinebeck.
Right.
Why not just give you cash? Right. So you don't have to feel guilty. It's your birthday present. That's what it's for.
No, it was great. And the very first thing I bought was the sock yarn with it.
Oh, nice.
So thank you.
You're welcome. We were going to do a gift giving last week. We were going to film, on Thursday.
It was just too crazy.
The day before Rhinebeck, but it was too
Yeah.
crazy, so I just brought it to her and she opened it on Thursday. Her
Yeah.
birthday was Wednesday. But it was so sweet too how everyone was saying happy birthday to
I
you.
know, so many people. That was fun. And I was like, wait, it was my birthday? Like, it was just so hectic.
Yeah.
You know, with the yarn festivals and trying to finish the knitting and everything going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, it was my birthday. And it was my grandson's birthday, so I was kind of focused on him.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided not to do gifts, my husband and I, this year. So,
Yeah.
because we're maybe getting a joint gift for each other in December. So,
Mhm. That's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
that's that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Yay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely like, subscribe, share, and if you see us at any events, any yarn
Be
shops,
sure to
anywhere,
say hi.
please come up and say hi.
Yeah.
We really, really, really love it.
We don't mind at all.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
And if we go there in our sweats, it's okay to take a picture. No makeup, it's still okay because we went there. So
Yep.
that's real life.
Yep.
So that's it.
So,
I can't believe we did it.
I know.
It was so fun.
I hope you enjoyed it, though.
We were going to do the hat video first, but I thought this
Yeah.
is more timely.
It is.
It just happened.
And we're still kind of coming off, you know,
Mhm.
all the warm fuzzies.
Yes.
So,
It was really
Anyway.
fun.
I see you.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet all of you. And again, now looking at the camera, it's not just a camera.
No.
We see Pat's face and Barbara's face and Jesus's face and just everyone that we got to meet. Emily's face. I mean, the first day at Wool and Folk, the first 3 people, we remembered their names. And now I
Yeah,
can't
and
remember.
we were like, we're going to remember
We're gonna-
all the names, and that did not happen at all.
No.
Knitting Posse was like, don't even try. So,
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
But
So I was really excited to film this video because, you know, I just feel just a more personal connection.
Mhm.
So,
Me too, definitely. Yeah, we feel like we really are fiber friends now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks for watching.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
You're not going to hit your head on the thingy, are you?
No.
Okay. I'm going to weigh it. People seem to like that.
You love it?
I do. I love it. I love especially that there's 3 layers on my ears.
Yeah. Why does this always feel so funny?
I don't know.
Do you want to keep that part in about him having an attitude about it?
Oh,
Do you
yeah, I don't
care?
care.
Okay.
He did. He had a total attitude about
Okay.
it. Hi.